I am I'm like a zealot of in Jay's cosmology here. He's got the trinity of the tinker, you tell me the other ones.
The lattice and the grind.
And the tinker sort of represents order and building things and that kind of thing. And I've had a mystical religious experience at a forge of a blacksmith where I basically passed out and had a vision of the tinker, and he told me to go forth and bring order to things. And I roll around with a D7 tinker's hammer.
So do you black out and have visions on a regular basis, or was that just like a one-time thing?
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I do black out.
Should we be psychologically concerned?
I haven't recently.
Okay, all right.
The religion that I'm part of, because the world is young, I'm not seeing myself as being integrated into there's not like a bunch of clerics of the tinker out there. There's a few, and I haven't met one yet.
Okay.
I've just sort of seen this as my calling, turned into a holy warrior for the tinker, and am forging my path across the world. And that's why I was really curious, because this town, which seemed to be godless, had a morality and had peace, but without any religion.
Okay.
Bothered me.
Yeah,
and
I point out
your character has no name?
Not yet. I'm looking for my name.
All right.
And
I thought we were going to go
give
think
me
about
a name, but nobody's really stepped out yet.
I point out that there's a town full of 50 people who are all getting along, and everybody goes, "That ain't right." Right? What do you think that's?
It was 100. I watched it last night.
Were we wrong?
No, you were not wrong.
To say that. So. Okay.
Everybody's getting along. All right.
All right. I've got everybody in gallery view right now. Can I just go through everybody and figure out what everyone else is playing one at a time?
Go ahead. Okay. Should I take my turn?
Yeah, you're next.
Okay. I'm Hermes. I am, believe it or not, an owl bear. Basically, so a mage came to my forest, and in trying to defend my family, who I don't have a clue what's happened to yet.
Okay.
So the mage has sort of enslaved Hermes, modified him, and he used him as sort of his brute force until one day the mage started to prepare some fireball spells, and Hermes freaked out and basically frenzied and murdered him brutally.
Oh!
So now he's sort of adventuring, he's time has passed on a bit, so he's a bit more, he's not traumatized constantly, but fire will freak him out. And basically been the town mascot where we've been, and sort of been the sort of big, lovable, really, really dumb mascot. Okay.
Are you like a warrior, or?
I've gone for, warrior. Yeah,
okay.
I've gone for ranger, but he's basically, he doesn't wield a bow.
Right, but ranger, you'd have all the wildernessy skills. That works well for a bear.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Feathered bear.
Kale?
Kale. So my character joined us in the big cavern here a little bit late. My character is a druid. She was found by the elves in the river, had been abandoned floating down the river as a child, raised by a healer, she-elf, until a fire destroyed their home. So now I'm wandering by myself. Also a follower of the Tinker. So the Nameless one and I have something in common there. And I just acquired a bow and arrows since my last bow was destroyed in the fire.
Okay. That's kind of cool. Are you a human?
Yes.
Okay.
Human raised by elves. So I haven't really fit in anywhere before.
Right. Next on my screen is G-Sound.
Hi, I'm Elf Warrior. Ranger. I'm not from this continent. I came here after shipwreck,
Back in a bit.
and now I'm wandering and hoping to find a way home.
Very cool, very cool. Jit.
Oh, that's me. My name's Jitarium. You can call me Jet. Or Jit. Is it written Jit? What's on my screen?
JIT.
Oh, okay. Well, Jit's fine too.
Should it
Alright.
be J-E-T?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I really don't care.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I said, I wasn't really happy with my name in the beginning, and but if you want to call me Jit, call me Jit.
All right.
At least you came up with a name.
So I'm a human. I'm a mage, and I'm here. I came to this town to investigate the utopian aspect of the town, and I'm also here to, on behalf of the SCAR, which is an acronym for something.
And that SCAR is spelled SCRR in this, right? I think from the first session.
SCRR or SCARR?
That is S-C-A-R-R.
SCARR. What's the A stand for?
And?
Oh.
I just felt like including the and.
Well,
I didn't start with the acronym.
investigating the disturbances in the surrounding forest of the town to find out if there's any magical element to it.
The town was getting attacked by all sorts of things from the forest, right?
Well, it did when we arrived. It got attacked by some giant rose bushes. But before that, there were strange noises, strange occurrences, grass turning black, trees turning black, even though everything is fine and dandy and it's raining and there's sun.
Happy-go-lucky people.
Okay, and then the last person I have on my screen is Joseph.
So I'm new.
Oh, you're also new. All right. What are you playing, Joseph?
My character's name is Adarian.
Oh.
How do I
Okay.
spell that?
Adarian.
So Adrian.
No, not fuck. Don't mess this up for me again. So I'm playing a dwarf warrior.
Okay.
And he's a mighty warrior from the dwarven tribe, looking to prove himself and looking for a group of adventurers to help him in his quest.
What's his quest?
Oh, he's proven himself to his family, so I'm guessing this to be good.
I see.
Fair enough.
Just to not be a disgrace to his family.
Okay. Cool. So I've made a character. My name is Voss. Or sorry, Voss with an H. Because why not?
Like that?
VHOSS. I am a hobgoblin soldier type. And I come from a. When I was talking to Jay, he was like, "You can just make up a country that you come from." So I've made up a country. It's a dystopian nightmare. Military police state, secret police, and the whole nine. It's called the Valak Eternal Empire.
Hey, it's got a name now. It didn't last time you said it to me.
Has a name now.
I get up this morning to 2 documents, one titled Character Sheet and one titled Hobgoblin Empire. And it's a great read. It's fascinating.
And he worships Norkellik, the goblin god of struggle and suffering, and her earthly avatar, the divine emperor, Valak. Ostensibly. Mostly he's kind of philosophical, but not super religious. And I threw together a philosophy to go with this religion, and it's sort of a mashup of a bit of ideas from Nietzsche and some stuff from Confucianism, and they sort of blend together in a weird way. And the empire I'm picturing is kind of like ancient China meets ancient Rome, but also Soviet-style secret police everywhere. It's not a nice place.
It sounds kind of horrible.
somewhere an owlbear can survive.
I reckon where you'd find a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
So.
I suppose I didn't mention why I'm here.
Yeah, why don't we murder you on sight?
This is a good question. I mean, you are a big, hairy creature born from hellfire.
No, that would be a bugbear, and they're stupid and brutish.
Extinction.
There's a big distinction. I'm human-sized, and we're armor.
I'm sorry, did I say hellfire? I meant a hellish population. My bad.
Oh, there you go.
Owl bear. Hey, who's the weirdo?
At least he walks on two legs.
Who's the weirdo and why is he covered in hair? Anyways, yeah, so it's like a clannish society. Everyone's raised by large extended families that are basically corporations and don't grow up knowing their parents. Mine was dissolved in disgrace because people at the top made big mistakes. So I found myself clanless, and I decided I would do better to make a name for myself elsewhere and then possibly come back later.
You want to go back?
Well, I mean, clearly I haven't been gone very long. I think that's just happening everywhere.
The summers are fantastic.
Right. Go for the fine cuisines, stay for the manslaughter. Right. So here you are underground, right? Why are you underground, boss?
I was hired by Conroy's Condottieri to recover the armaments in brackets underground city. You didn't give me a name.
I did not. I didn't give anybody a name.
Okay. And yeah, I've been hired to do a job by them. They want me to retrieve something down here.
So we'll get to you in a second, but if we're going to start, last time I checked, everybody was being addressed by an undead character who sounds like whistling branches, who, as I recall, said, "Why are you here?" And then we stopped.
Just, I don't know, hanging around.
I mean,
This is where you say I seek the Holy Grail.
We demand
The Death
a
Bunny
schwabble.
comes out.
I would like an audience with your latrine cleaner.
You guys can say all that, and I'll step back.
As I recall, I am writing one of the horsemanders.
You are. Last time I
My
checked, yes.
bow drawn.
Okay.
he's
Just in
violent.
case.
Yeah, she's just ready. She's like, you know what? Say another word. I dare you.
And a couple of you guys had rolled away from the door, and
That's true.
Yeah, we're all kind of backing off.
Yeah.
So we've all got
kinda
some kind of distance on this
standing
guy.
behind the tinker there.
Divine power save us, even though we don't believe. So as you guys kind of, some of you land between, humor, and others of you land with aggression. Gideon steps forward and kind of composes himself, like he orients himself, stands up straight, and adjusts what shambled clothing he's wearing, and suggests that he doesn't mean you any harm.
I clutch my great axe.
And he
Just
goes,
ready to pull it out.
and he goes, "You walk amongst the dead, and you live. Perhaps we can strike a deal."
That sounds sketchy.
Tell us about this city. Where are we?
You are
Yeah.
in the lost city of Gruntil. I have watched over this city for centuries. My people torn apart.
Okay, never mind centuries. Have you seen any dwarves go by in the last maybe day?
And his eyes kind of flash in and out for a second like a warning light. And he goes, "Yes. Why?"
Bad seeds make people go good. That problem.
He kind of, the eyes go dim for a second, like damaged headlights, and they come back online. He goes, we did not speak. I asked him to help, and he did not answer me. I can tell you where he went, but please do something for us first.
How can we help you?
What you want?
Well, as you've looked around, you've no doubt realized there are no people here, save me and my wife's bones.
And the good food.
It was good when we made it. We built the city painstakingly, one rivet at a time, and we would not see it languish, lost forever. If you help us destroy the creature that has been eating our bones, we will give you the city, and I will tell you which way the dwarf went.
Ooh, we get a city out of this. That's quite cool. Okay. I wish I opted for that dark vision now.
Jesus.
So what kind of creature has been eating the
Eating
bones?
bones. Yeah, it's not a mole because they eat the dirt.
A large, it doesn't come up very much. We don't get to see it very well. What I can tell you of it is it has many teeth, many scales, and glows.
And where are all these bones?
With it, I imagine. If you follow the stream down to the end, there's a large cavern, like this one, but with no buildings in it. There's a reservoir of water in the center. The creature resides there. Please kill it and set our souls free.
Why haven't you been able to kill it?
He holds up his bones and his ratty flesh and goes, I speak. That's it.
Well, I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything. I'm not gonna.
What about the sphere? About the crystal?
Give me 1 second. I'll need to fix that. So the H goes first. Got it. He turns to look at you with his rotten flesh and says, the sphere is damaged. But I think with the rest of my energy and my wife's energy, we can restore it for you. Call it our last act for our people.
And what it is used for?
The sphere throws sunlight and makes the village as if it was on the surface. In the past, we had vast farmland and creatures and lives. We lived here for generations. Then the moles came, and after that, the creature that killed us. First, we fought the moles for the food and the fur. And then it killed the moles. And then it killed us. We assume because the moles are just animals. We fight for our lives and for our livelihood. It is a wicked thing.
How many people lived in this city?
At its prime, thousands.
And they're all gone because of this creature.
Indeed, one soul and set of bones at a time. Well, that's not entirely true. We did lose a couple of people to the moles, but that's just a mortal coil.
This genocide take place?
The loss of our people to the creature?
Yeah.
I am not sure. The veil of death contaminates one's ability to tell time. A long time ago.
What can you tell me about the giant metal people?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Giant metal people?
Metal people? You lost me.
The houses
I
are
lost
metal.
myself.
I
The
don't
When
buildings
I
are
was,
metal.
I wrote it down somewhere. When I was reading the books in the library, I came across some information about ancient people who were very large.
Oh,
They
that.
made cities out of metal or something?
His eyes kind of light up for a second, and then they go dim, and then they come back on, right? And he goes, the library. I have no idea. I was not a reader.
Right.
So I'm assuming these would have been before his time then.
You would have wanted to speak to Caven about that. He was our chief librarian. Unfortunately, his soul has been lost to the creature. Who knows? Maybe you can restore it.
Well, if this can advance our quest in discovering this mystery of the city, I'm all about ridding the world of foul beasts that destroy civilizations. So
Look at you go, hero.
I know I'm a little bit typical that way right now. But yeah, I want to help.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
in.
I hate monsters, so I will kill it.
He says in the presence of an owl bear and a hobgoblin.
Oh my! I've been not talking because I thought I wasn't here yet.
Well, no, I suppose you're not. I just wanted to pick on you for a second.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of that, have you wandered into the city? Did you hear all of this? Were you like hiding in the bushes?
Right. Oh, I don't know. I figured you'd introduce me where you thought it made sense.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Yay! Trust. Look, yeah. Sure. So Gideon steps forward one more step. So now he's relatively close to you, probably within 6 feet of the group as a whole, and goes, "Thank you so much." Pardon? Could have sworn
I just was turning on my Bluetooth.
I see. He goes, "Thank you for agreeing to help us. We will do our best to aid you." And he raises his hands, and this electrostatic light pulses out of them. And you all feel a certain degree of inner fortification. Mathematically, this means you get advantage for like the next 6 things.
Nice.
And that Bluetooth lady is mad at you.
Right now, it doesn't want to connect to my computer right now.
I see.
Probably because my Bluetooth is off. Good job.
Good call. Right. So there you have it. You've got a quest and a ghoul standing over you. I guess it's not technically a ghoul, since in D&D ghouls are like a monster with a stat block, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I dare say this guy, from the sounds of it, wouldn't take as many hits as a ghoul.
No, probably not. And don't they have some blood-sucking power or something? Some
Like a life drain or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like
isn't it?
that.
Yeah, same as vampires.
The vampires.
Okay.
Let's head over to
Okay.
that cavern.
Sure.
Dragon thing.
Yeah, the weird glowing purple worm sounding thing.
Finding your way
Take
to the
my
cavern.
Horse-amander with me.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Still riding it.
Do you want to see if you can wrangle horse-amanders for your friends, or just kind of let them hoof it?
I actually want. Can the guy tell us about the horse-amanders and how we might?
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
there like a special whistle or something like that?
When
or a code
pressed
word?
for it, right? Gideon explains that the horse-amanders were the mounts of the people. The moles burrow much faster than the people walked, so they needed a way to keep up with them, to get ahead of them, to kill them. The horse-amanders were initially trained, though it would appear to him that they've gone feral at this point.
Was there more attack and saddles and stuff?
There was. You guys only found a set. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Brain fart. Yes. There's another bridal station, I suppose. And Gideon points out where you might find that, and in it are
A bridal
hundreds.
station. Not much experience with animals, do you, Jay?
No, none. I rode horses briefly when I was in elementary school. That's it. Beyond that, cats and dogs.
Well, we'll go.
Wait, you ride cats and dogs?
I've had cats and dogs my whole life and ridden horses for like a 2-year period when I was 12. That's it.
That's not nearly as exciting as riding cats and dogs.
No. I do not own a cat or a dog large enough to allow that.
I'd say riding horses for 2 years is a lot of experience with horses.
I suppose.
That's 2 years more experience than I've got riding horses.
Rampant ADHD. The only thing I remember about it was that his name was Riot, and he did not enjoy sugar cubes, which struck
There's
me as
a lot of
surprisingly odd.
tigers that need being cared for these days.
Yeah, right? Ship them over.
Jesus.
Oh, that's funny. Like, I'm sure I can fit them in the house here somewhere. They'll just curl up on the sofa, you know.
Look,
I want to try and wrangle another horse commander. I don't want to waste a bunch of time on this, but I just want to make a roll and see if I can't wrangle another horse commander.
Do you want me
sure.
to help you keep them in place? I suppose you're getting advantage, but
Well, we can remember that I was just able to use my affinity for animals to get them to cooperate, so maybe I could do that again.
She kind of booped the snoot, you know?
They seem to like me.
I'm gonna roll 2d20 on the app thing. If people
Sure.
want to look, if they want the eager anticipation. Buddy, ready?
Horse commander.
Boom. Oh, 18 will do.
Nice. So you managed to wrangle yourself a horse commander, and he kind of satiates underneath the kit. What's the word? So you have a ride, and Ikale has a ride,
So we should get a ride.
and
how
Hermes
fast
is
am
his own
I?
ride,
Not very far.
I suppose I
is
could
it?
technically be someone else's ride too.
I suppose.
I get on your back.
You even here?
I'm probably not, but shit, I'm calling dibs.
Yeah, when I find me an owlbear.
I
I've got
don't
a
get
pretty
a
good
ride.
strength score.
When I find me an owlbear, I'm riding me one. Right?
Should have modified my armor to have a saddle on it.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine that?
imagine
An
it now.
angry dwarf on the top of an owlbear who
Well,
like
I mean,
rears
my
up all
backstory-
claws.
My backstory does involve being a courier. I suppose I must have been pulling a cart of some description, surely.
Sure, yeah, you probably don't want to attach the packages to your underbelly and get them all dirty, you know.
Yeah, because that's inevitable, surely.
So
My daughter to draw your sentient armored owl bear.
oh yeah, that'll be great.
You might do it.
That'll be pretty cool.
So between the nameless priest and Ikale's natural ability for animals, you guys managed to wrangle up enough horse commanders for everybody except Hermes, because they will not stay underneath you.
No, I'm too heavy. They probably have like half movement speed with me on them, even if it was to work.
Yeah, and I mean they're soft and fleshy, and you got talons. It's like love knives from a cat. They're not interested.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Finding the cavern is no trouble at all. There's a giant river that runs through the middle of the cave. For the most part, it's dried up. Finding the track is easy. And as you head down the tunnel, right, you find yourselves almost immediately, 50 feet from where the city was. You find yourself in a smaller cavern. It's still big, but you can see the roof of this one. It's smaller. It's probably 60 feet up. And there's an orange box yelling at me. What do you people want now?
Oh, that's probably just me.
I see. And you see this large pool of water in the middle that isn't dried up, with a ball of light glowing in the base of it. And the walls go up. There's various sockets and slots that could hold anything from people to chests. They're like big cubbies built into the stone wall, and a vast array of large stone pillars, some of them as large as 50 feet, some of them as short as 5 feet, all of them at least 10 feet around.
So the pillars are where exactly?
The pillars they fill the cavern. There's probably no more than 10 feet between any given pillar.
Like, has a dune kind of extending into the...
Yes.
Okay.
The river bed runs through a bunch of them, and as you can hear the trickle of a much larger pool of water in the middle of the room. You can also sort of see it. It's giving off enough light that it's throwing it between the giant stones, the pillars. And you hear a rumbling sound of water being like what water sounds like when it's pumped out of a hose with high force. What do you do?
Oh,
I mean, I want to say I want to have a look, but that depends on who.
Of course you do. So you want to have a look?
Yeah, but I'm ready for anything.
You have, as somebody who can walk on walls, you have all kinds of options. Can you be a tiny
I forgot
bit more
about my new
specific?
boots.
As somebody who can walk on basically anything, can you be a tiny bit more specific with how you want to take a look?
I want to take it from the ceiling.
Okay. So you take your big owl bear claws and you into the side of the wall and just climb your way up there. And how high do you climb? Until you reach the top of the pillars, till you reach the ceiling, till you're completely
I want to reach
upside
the
down?
ceiling. I feel like this thing sounds kind of big, so the best shot I've got is sort of ceiling.
Okay. Once you kind of scramble your way up to the ceiling, you look down, and there's a huge, probably 50 or 60 feet across pool of water, which looks like a very small, probably a foot or two, ball of light in the middle of it, throwing light and shadows everywhere out of the water. But the ball of light itself doesn't seem to be very big, and the top of the surface is roiling like crazy. The liquid itself is clearish. It's blue, clear.
The water is boiling?
The water would appear to be boiling, yes.
Huh.
Okay, I feel like I want to go back and tell everyone what I've just seen.
Okay.
I mean, light in water. There, that way.
Is broken owlbear English. Water, light, ball, maybe bad.
Now, is that boiling or bubbling?
I think I used the word roiling, but that's
Boiling,
closer to
yeah.
boiling than it is to bubbling. So let's go with boiling.
Was he feeling heat rising up
Oh,
to the
no.
ceiling?
Maybe did I see steam?
For the heat, no. The
So
cave
it's just like, it's just being really, really disturbed.
agitated,
and it's
yes.
thrashing, yeah.
Yes, thrashing, but there's no temperature differential. It's a very good point. The word boiling is mildly misleading. My apologies.
Yeah, I figured light, heat, but obviously not. Okay, so yeah, I've told everyone what I see.
We should go closer.
Let's get closer.
Okay.
I
Are
wanna
all
take
of
the
you
ceiling
getting
route
closer?
again.
You're going to go the ceiling route again? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. As you guys advance towards the center of the room, a hobgoblin falls out of the ceiling and
Out of the ceiling.
and lands in the water and bursts out of the water incredibly wet, and depending on how he feels about water, pissed. I'm not sure.
Probably a little uncomfortable in all my armor and such.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
pointing my arrows at the goblin.
Yeah. I draw my
me
arrow
too.
or my bow as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I get ready to sort of drop down on him if he makes a bad move.
What was I doing on the ceiling so that I know how I should be reacting here?
I kind of figured you were on the surface and you were engaging with
fell
the
down a
dwarf
hole.
who was accosting you. The two of you fell. He hasn't fallen all the way yet.
Okay.
I fell from the ceiling.
Fucking dwarf.
So
I shake my fist at wherever the dwarf was attacking me from, up in above
As you
the
do
field.
that, a frumpy little, a very cranky
He's
dwarf
going
falls
to
out of
attack.
the air.
I'm shouting.
lands
He's
in the
going
pool
to
next to you.
attack.
Right, like, yeah, that does look like an angry thing, doesn't it? Adarian can also fall into the pool of water from above, next to the hobgoblins you had previously been accosting. I assume because he was a hobgoblin, but really your reasons are yours.
So I get out of the water. I look at the hobgoblin like, Jesus Christ, that was a fall, but lush water though.
I guess I climb out of the water and I start shaking dry my stuff. And I ask the dwarf what the hell is wrong with him.
What the hell's wrong with me? What the hell's wrong with you?
I was just minding my own business and suddenly you come up and punch me in the face.
It's a dwarven tradition to say hi.
It's a term of endearment. Sounds like Australia.
How's it going? Right? Oh, that's great. So amongst the what do we want to call this? The social chaos? An enormous scaly tentacle shoots out of the water, suction cups and spraying acid, and Voss and Adarian should both make reflex saves or death.
Good thing I got out of the water. All right.
I was really hoping that one of you would say, I stayed in the pool of water.
Reflex save, huh?
Yeah.
20. Throw the d20. And that's just a dex check?
Yep. We do a relevant modifier.
Okay. I'm going to say that is a +2. That's an 11.
Yay! So as the tentacle dashes past you, it misses, and you kind of pull a little matrix bend and get out of the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 19.
That's a 19. Excellent.
That's a dexterous dwarf.
Yeah, but it is a nat 20. For
Yeah,
whatever.
but then it's a -1 for my dex.
So the tentacle shoots past, flits out of the air, throws water everywhere, but it doesn't actually strike either one of you, and then snaps back underneath the pool, and the water immediately goes dead, from full broil to flat, in less than a second.
I look at the hobgoblin. I look at the hobgoblin like, whoa, I'm glad we got out of the water when we did.
Right. I back up and I draw my bow.
I draw out my war hammer and pull out my shield.
And are we seeing this? Is this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It would be kind of impossible to miss.
Yeah.
So I don't need to alert everyone then.
I mean, you can, right? You did get a bird's eye view, as it were, right? Your view is.
I suppose. I kind of wanna keep a little bit concealed for now. I don't feel like anyone nasty has seen me yet.
I just pictured stealth owlbear, right? The belly flop from the shadows.
Sort of like Garfield.
Garfield, where's my lasagna?
I mean, laugh if you want to, but the idea of being flattened by an owlbear in armor from the ceiling sounds kind of terrible.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good way to go.
I don't even know there is an owl bear yet, right?
Yeah, no,
This
we
is
don't
very
know.
true.
I'm on the ceiling. What
don't even
reason
know
does
if it-
anyone have to look up?
Yeah.
Providing they can even see through the darkness.
Yeah. So what are the rest of you doing? Excuse me.
So when a tentacle pops up, I am going to take a shot at it, just to be clear.
Sounds good.
With the bow draw.
Is there any detail or anything else around the pool? Do we see?
There is some what looks like poorly drawn etchings in the ground around it.
Okay, I want to approach that, still mounted, and take a look at the what I'm seeing.
Okay. As you get near them, they start to not really glow. They glow in your brain, but you're aware that they're not glowing for everybody else, that only you see the luminescent vibrations.
Can I read it?
Something weird happens when you try and read it. They're not in a language you inherently understand, but the text, as it were, migrates and shapeshifts for you to understand it. And it's a message from the Tinker for you.
Praise to the tinker. Yes, okay.
That says the village beyond is in dire need of use and function, and that he's bestowing upon you the task of making the city rise to glory, kind of like an overgrown church to his name.
The city we just left, or that we're rescuing.
The metal one, yes.
Okay. That's what it says.
He said the message goes on to explain that if you get the sun thrower to work and you pull it all the way up into the top of the chamber, he will grant you a miracle and it will rise from the depths.
Well, I come back to the group, but I'm right by the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to come back to the group here and tell them what I saw and encourage them that we must press on, because this is the will of the tinker. What else can we do? I know you might not all trust him, but he has given me a message and shown me that this city is a source of order in the world that we must restore.
I don't know this tinker. Is it an engineering guild?
Is he a blacksmith?
The tinker is the one who brings order to the chaos of the cosmos. If you go to the edge of the world, which we all know is there to be found, you can see him pounding on his anvil of creation and making all things true.
So it's a blacksmith.
A really big blacksmith?
I think you're going to get smacked in a minute.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. If there was ever a time to be smite, that would be...
Hold your blasphemous tongue. The tinker creates in all the ways that an artisan is trained.
He's not just a blacksmith. He's the OG blacksmith.
Yes.
Oh, so is this like...
right, I see.
Is this like some weird local religion?
Local?
Oh, he's going to tear you apart?
Just know for the moment now we are like mostly all aligned with the nameless tinker.
So, just so you know, I understand that the truth of the tinker in this young earth is not universally known. So I'll forgive your ignorance.
Hermes, did you say that out loud?
Yeah,
No, I'm still not. No, I'm being incognito.
Just checking. Okay, because if you said that out loud, now Voss he heard a voice from the ceiling.
You know what? I'm speaking as Hermes because it's broken.
All I'm saying to Voss is that, no judgment quite yet. I understand that you're ignorant and have yet to understand the truth of order in the universe.
But this is a religion you're talking about, right? Or am I misunderstanding?
No, I mean, out of character, yes, we're talking about a religion.
I'm saying in character.
Yes.
My dude's never heard of this. He's trying to make sure that you are, in fact, talking about a religion, not just some guy.
Well, no, we are
May or may not be like a king or something.
I'm talking about the God of all things, the one who creates. In harmony with I don't know how you view this, Jay, but whether or not the lattice and the crusher, whatever,
grind, right?
The grind, these are not opposed forces necessarily. They're forces that work together.
Exactly, they're a big circle of life, death, and rebirth.
Yeah. So the tinker is part of the concept of God that we have in these parts, which is of these three. I don't, not to be overly theological, not really truly a trinity, but a three gods.
I see.
A triumvirate, perhaps.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't think we have that in the Empire.
Have you guys ever?
Well, you have it in the Empire. You just don't know yet.
Nice. So as you two are discussing, right? Discussing, arguing, debating, whatever word you feel like using.
It's more of a discussion.
Chatting and turning my head occasionally while I still have my bow leveled on where the tentacles keep popping up.
Hermes, everyone else should make a what's what I'm looking for? A wisdom check, like a passive perception type deal. Except
Everyone?
Hermes, who's just going to see it. Right.
17.
What do I
Actually,
have to roll?
That is a wisdom roll.
Ooh.
18. 18.
What's I?
Pardon?
All right, so I rolled a 3.
Okay.
I rolled an 8.
Okay.
What die am I rolling?
know
That is
I got an
roll a
11.
20-sided die and add your wisdom modifier.
Okay. What is my
11.
wisdom?
2 and -3, -1.
Ouch.
I actually rolled a 20 because I have proficiency in wisdom checks.
Don't we all still have advantages?
You do. Feel free to use that. You have
Oh.
6 charges of it
I got a
of
9.
advantage. A 9. Okay.
You're all welcome.
Well, I will.
So those of you that beat an 11, those of you that met or beat an 11, see these little, what look like suction cups, rimmed with little teeth, fall out of the top of the room and land on and around the pillars. Hermes, you're in the best position to see these. You see probably hundreds of them
Oh, no.
fall almost silently out of seemingly everywhere, and they dart amongst the pillars.
Oh, yay.
That could be a problem.
7 for me.
I heard that could be a problem. Maybe. What was that classic Star Wars line? I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. I roll 7.
I heard. Yeah, you don't see the little suction cuppy things, but Hermes is in a position to share that with you guys if he wants. I mean, I don't mean to.
These things don't sound that intelligent, so I'm gonna let out a screech, get everyone's attention, and say, just look out, bad, creepy, crawly things everywhere.
Just so we're clear, 2 of you have no idea there's an owl bear in this room, and now
There's
you.
something on the ceiling!
What the fuck is that?
I'm hoping that the nameless tinker you're talking to is gonna make sure you don't shoot me.
Fill you in before you get filled full of arrows. Yeah, here's hoping. I gotta say, if I just discovered an owl bear on the ceiling in my house, I would shoot him.
Well, I'm assuming, like you said that this was a big cave, right? So I'm assuming I can't see what's up there.
Yeah, it is gonna be dark, I assume.
It is dark.
They-
Right.
Like, you've got a light source
Take
down
calm,
there. I
take
don't have a
calm.
light source up here.
What was that, Jason?
Be calm. Be calm. Just relax.
It's
Use
no
the
big
breath.
deal. It's just a talking
yeah.
shadow.
It's just be owl.
I shout down, "I friendly."
Oh, okay.
The new Apple
That's what an
product,
enemy
the
would
iFriend.
say.
All right.
I can see that now. Apple puts out the new iPerson, and after that, the new friendlier version, right? The iFriendly.
Yeah, the eye friendly. Yeah.
So as you guys react to the screech, do you have an owlbear screech sound file, or can you make something for us? You want to roleplay that out for me?
I mean, I'm certainly not going to try and do it with my mouth,
Aw.
but I can.
I'll make do then with my imagination.
Play me an owl screech and a bear noise at the same time.
They have owl mouths, so I'm going with mostly owl sounds.
Okay.
Okay.
Like an angry hoot.
Angry hoot.
While you are busy screeching and Jason is busy keeping everybody calm, several of these little suction cup things fly off of the sides of the pillars and lunge at you.
The hell is that?
I don't have boss's armor class written down yet,
16.
but I rolled a 9. It doesn't really matter. So these
Yeah.
things fly past you and stick to the pillars, and you swear for just a second the pillar shakes. Jason, what are you doing?
Will cut it with my 2 sword.
Sure.
So I must.
I back away from the water a little bit more when my turn comes up, and switch from the bow to the sword.
Okay. You swing at some of them, Jason? Excellent.
15 and
Nice.
13.
Nice. So you want to role play that out, or you want me to handle that?
I handle it, please.
Sure. You dart forward and you kind of perforate a couple of them. Right. You dart forward, the swords flip straight on and cut a couple of these things in half as they fall apart. When you do that, you see hundreds of them zip across, not at any of you. They just fly through the air, bouncing off one pillar to the next like little tiny suction-y pinballs. Kale, what are you doing?
I have my bow drawn and I shoot it.
Sure.
At one of the tentacles. What die do I have to roll?
You roll a 20-sided die and add your dex modifier. Or your strength modifier. I mean, whichever one you like better.
The strength. Okay. With my strength modifier, it's a 9.
Nice. So you let fly an arrow, and it strikes one of the stone pillars and kind of vibrates off of it, and lands on the ground next to you.
I'm so very good at the bow.
The nameless priest. What are you doing?
Let me just understand what's going on here. These things are flying around, or they're hitting the poles and the pillars are shaking.
The pillars seem to vibrate a little bit whenever they hit one of them. Yeah, just a tiny bit though. Maybe it's a trick of the light. You're not really sure. But they're not necessarily attacking you. No, they're just kind of pinging around the space.
Can I make a history check and see if I know anything about this stuff?
Yeah, sure.
I have that as a skill.
Sure.
And I'll roll with advantage. I'll do it on the app here.
Sounds good.
2d20. Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Nice. 23. Give me something.
You've heard of these. They're called trials, like TRILS. Oh, sorry, TRILES. Trials are little tiny disc suction cup creatures that take down their enemies by using sound. They ripple off of things and make big cacophonies of sound. They're not very strong and they're not very durable, so they need to drop their enemies some other way. Given your history check and your natural intelligence, you're relatively certain that they'll be using these posts like big tuning forks, and shortly will make enough sound to cause you a great deal of pain.
That's not good.
I reach into my bag and stuff I rip a couple pieces off of my tunic and stuff it into my ears.
Oh, good call.
You gonna tell the rest of us about this?
Yes, like your ears, cover your ears. The sound will attack us.
Yeah, and the hobgoblin's the crazy one. The sound will attack us.
Exactly. Yes. I've heard of these creatures. They're dangerous. We need to somehow take cover. If you have anything to protect yourself.
Could we not kill them?
There's hundreds.
What are the pillars made of?
Stone.
Stone. So me dropping onto one of them might not knock it down.
It might not. But you consider that for a second, that if you land on one of these things and you knock it down, you're going to have you risk a domino effect because of how close they are to one another. But I mean, you probably can, yeah.
That's probably not a bad thing as long as
It
everyone gets
stops
out
the
the
tune
way.
going from pillar to pillar then. So
Yeah, just give us a heads up so we know to get out of the way.
yeah, voice in the shadows.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go on ahead and do that, but first I'm gonna hang on.
Nice.
Doesn't sound like an owl to me.
It's a cool owl. That's why.
Was a
I couldn't find the
predatory
good
eagle owl.
effect. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Nice.
So yeah, he does that and he drops down onto one of the pillars in the hopes of knocking it down.
Sure.
Should I roll something?
Yeah, sure. Do you have the intent of knocking it down?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, make a strength check with that, and don't forget to include your advantage.
Nala, shut up. It's me.
He heard your eagle noises.
I got
noises.
a 12.
Just barely. So you like sky drop, right, and you fall out of the air and collide with one of these stone pillars and knock into the next one, and that one knocks into the next one and the next one, and it's just this giant din of stone and rubble being whipped through the air. And now everybody gets to decide whether or not they want to make a deck save to try and get out of the cave or get into the pool of water. You'll have no space. Those are really your only two options, given the amount of stone that this one has just collapsed all over the place.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say out of the cave.
Okay?
Yeah, out of the cave.
Sure.
You said we have 6 advantages. To bring
Yeah,
up?
like charges, right.
Considering mine's a minus, I might take the risk and jump into the water.
Mine's a minus 2.
Given how close you are to the pool of water, that is an easy roll. To get out
Yeah.
of the get out of the giant columns
Cave.
of stone as they fall over and cross 50 feet will be a hard roll.
Yeah, I'm a dwarf. I
Five.
can't run that fast, so
Hey, I get out. I got an 18.
Nice. So the hobgoblin does
18
some
as well.
parkour, running, flipping. Jit also got an 18.
Me.
The two of you do some
I
parkour.
assume I'm also
flipping.
rolling to get out.
You don't have to.
Oh, but-
I mean,
I mean, if the option's there, right?
yeah, the option's there. Jason, what was that?
5.
5. Okay. You fail as the stones kind of collapse around you. You don't get hurt, but you're definitely stuck in here. There's enough rubble that's around you. You are kind of like against the wall, against some stone leftovers.
I got a 16.
You managed to flip or roll. What do dwarves do exactly? Do you just kind of barrel roll over
Yeah,
things?
barrel roll. Stop, truck, and roll.
So you dwarf bounce your way out of the cave.
Yeah, boy.
I'm not
rolled
sure
a
that's
19.
Roll a d20 again.
Yes. Hermes, you kind of gallop and claw and scramble your way over the stone columns. Priest, what did you get?
Now 1.
Ooh. And that
Ooh.
one, did you say? Ooh.
Sorry.
I use my dexterity modifier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that I got a 15.
Oh,
Nice.
I got a -1.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh.
So, Ikael, you make it out of the cave with everybody else, with the exception of the priest who manages and Jason. The priest who rolls a -1. That is rough.
Jeez.
Goes to kind of dig and scratch his way out of the stone columns and makes a misstep and slides forward and kind of scratches his knees up and takes 3 points of damage through his armor.
Ooh.
The armor is whole, but you're a little dusted up. And Sean, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, my dog's bugging me to let him out. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. And Jason, you managed to kind of pick yourself up off the ground, and you're stuck, and you're by yourself, but you're unharmed.
So
In among-
am I free? Am I not pressed with stones?
You're not pressed down. It's not like a cave-in. You're just surrounded. Between the cast-up stones and dirt and grit, you can't see anything.
So I clean my eyes
Okay?
and put my mud into my ears.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So and I'm trying to come closer to the priest.
Okay? You'll have to scale over a bunch of stone and whatnot to get over to him. He's not that far away from you. You can hear him kind of picking himself up out of the dirt. But as you mantle up over one of the stones, you see him.
Mhm.
You go down to his location.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now it's the two of you, just kind of by yourself in this little like 8-10 foot I'm going to be real generous and call it a clearing, for lack of a better term, in amongst the broken stone.
Just a thought. I've got funky climbing boots. Could I, like, help these guys out?
You could. You absolutely could.
I
You
think I'm
don't-
going to try and do that since this is my fault.
Sure.
So you should.
I climb on over and I, like, pull a puppy dog face and, like, give him the eyes. Like...
As you kind of scamper your way up, another one of those tendrils shoots out of the water. Make a deck save.
Oh, so that was advantage. Oh, thank God for that. 21.
Oh.
Nice.
I rolled a nat 1 the first time.
Ooh. Ouch.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It lashes forward and fails to grab you and disappears back under the water. And there's a huge amount of runoff as this giant bulbous thing covered in teeth and eyeballs, leaking this ugly viscous orange goo. Beaks and talons everywhere. All of the eyeballs on it turn to look at you.
Beaks and talons everywhere. Not one.
Well, no, there's a bargain bin sale at the beak store. You just buy them all.
What's my chance of intimidating this thing back into the water?
You're an owl bear of relative intelligence, 0. But if you'd like to roll anyway, I mean, player agency.
I was gonna go for a screech, and while trying to intimidate it, let everyone know that something's going on.
Sure. Yeah.
I do not have a ranged weapon. However,
Uh-oh.
I do have a cantrip called Providence where I can give people a +1 blessing of the Tinker,
Mm-hmm.
except for Vahas.
I'm not blessing that guy. Right.
It's okay. In due time, the blessings of the Tinker will come upon him and his people.
Just shameless plug. I love how zealoty you are being as a zealot. I love it. Like, no, you got religion. You just don't know it yet. That's good stuff.
So,
By the
well,
way,
I mean-
I did roll. In
So
case it matters,
if
I rolled a
somebody's going to
16, my
attack,
charisma's
before they
+1.
attack, I want to give them this. I want to bless them.
Okay. Hermes, what was that?
I rolled my, I assume it's charisma.
Yes.
If it does work. I got 17 total.
Okay. The creature does it doesn't tremble in its booties or anything, but it does briefly hesitate. First, its beak's open, and then there's a brief pause. And Jason, what are you doing?
I'm trying to pull up the priest.
Pull him up out of the hole? Okay.
Yeah.
Make a strength check for that to kind of haul him up out of the pocket he's in.
Okay. 13.
Nice. You pull him up on the edge of the stone rubble. So now it's you, Hermes, and the nameless priest in this space looking at this giant, hateful beak creature, and the rest of your friends are like 50 feet away.
They
think we
should
run
know
back to our
something's going
friends,
on,
'cause
right?
Oh, yeah, they can't miss it. The creature glows all by itself. The ball of light that was in the water is much bigger than it appeared in the water, and it's definitely this thing.
It was obviously quite deep then. Okay.
So this is the big glowy thing.
Squid.
And this is the thing we have to kill for
Yes, the Hatopus.
Gideon.
I mean, have to kill. I mean, if you
He
choose
wants
to
to.
kill
No,
it.
we have to kill this abomination.
Yeah, I want a city.
Guys, we got to get back to the team and assemble.
I mean, like, I did just, like, screech. I was hoping that someone would, reinforce us. But apparently not.
Right. You're on your own. Kale, what are you doing anyway?
I hear Hermes screech and I come to investigate. Did our horse and manners scamper away, or are they still with us?
The horsemanders peeled away with you when you were riding them when you were by the pool, right?
I was going to say, didn't
I
the
never
priest
got
have
off.
a horsemander?
They tear off out from underneath you as you guys tried to scramble away, but they haven't run off or anything. They've just stayed at the edge of the room. They're kind of looking at it. Their heads kind of shrink into their necks at the sight of the creature, so they don't have eyes, right? They need to showcase their fear in some other way. You know when when you go to grab the cat and it's time for bath and it knows it and it kind of shrinks into itself? They kind of do that.
Becomes the most immovable object a cat could possibly be.
Right. All of a sudden they weigh 20 more pounds. Right. So you have your horse Amander, but you'd have to remount it.
Okay. All right. So I remount my horse Amander and go after Hermes.
Okay. So now the four of you are on the edge of this stone pillar. Boss, what are you doing?
I'm gonna draw my bow again and shoot at this giant monster in the middle of the room.
Okay, sure, go for it.
That was a good sound effect.
Yeah, was that the sound?
Yeah, what was that?
That's what creaky bow you got there.
I have a very squeaky chair.
I see. I thought it was the bow. Like, you should oil that thing.
It can also be the bowstring. Why not?
Oh, I have a new name for the horse Amander.
Oh, yeah?
Hipporidella.
Nice.
So hippo, horse, and then Uridella, which is the Latin name for scientific name for salamander.
No way. That's cool.
So I didn't roll well, but it is very big. Does a 9 hit?
Let's say a 9 hits. You plunge an arrow into one of this thing's eyes. It bursts, and this nasty orange liquid sprays everywhere that smells awful. And you start to watch it melt through the stone. Jit, what are you? Oh, yeah.
It takes 12.
He's like, I quit. I'm sorry. What are you doing?
Do you not need a damage number?
I do need one.
It takes 12.
12, okay.
I rolled max damage.
Sounds good. Way to go, you. Adarian, what are you doing facing the giant, hateful octopus meatball?
Right, okay. So I'm going to start screaming out, saying, "This is for the mighty quest!" and run up to Hermes and ask Hermes to toss me towards the thing so I can hit him in the face with our warhammer.
Okay.
Dwarven football that fast? All right.
Well, I mean, he spins through the air like a football when he's jumping, so why not?
Bounce out the way, why not?
Right.
Right, okay. So
Hermes,
what am I
you'll need to
rolling?
make
Just
a
a D20?
Oh,
okay.
yeah, sure. I would have Hermes make the strength or the dex check, since he'll be the one hurling you.
I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one I do. They're both the same modifier, but...
Sure.
So this is the fastball special we're talking about,
20.
right?
Yes.
A nat 20.
Oh,
Nice.
beautiful.
So you're going to smash into the ceiling.
So you get a nice tight
Great.
spiral. You whip the dwarf, he spins around, right? You've got the warhammer drawn out, and I assume you're hitting this thing.
Yeah, I am indeed.
Roll.
Oh,
A 9 hits. He said that.
You know the
no, it's
nat
a 10.
20 on
It's a
the
10.
throw. He needs advantage to hit.
Definitely.
He could also take the advantage from Gideon.
You could, right. But, I mean,
Second
given
one.
his perfect throw, I'm just going to say
14.
you hit this thing. Roll for
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a 1d10. Oh, that is a 4. 4
Nice.
damage.
You spin through the air. Perfect aerodynamic shot, right? You get your warhammer out, and you plunge it into one of this thing's beaks. It shatters with this horrible scream as blood and more of that orange crap falls out of it. And the warhammer is stuck enough in it that you have a choice right now. When it's your turn again, you can just kind of wiggle it a little bit and cause it more pain, or you can let go.
Ooh.
If he falls, does he fall into the water?
He will. He'll fall
Okay.
into the water. The giant creature has not left it's above the surface of the water, but it hasn't moved towards you or anything.
Who hasn't attacked yet?
Jit.
Me.
Yeah.
What about
I haven't.
Samantha? Is she there? She attacked?
I have just
Failed?
come up closer to Hermes. I haven't attacked yet.
Can I bless Ikale?
Sure,
Seeing as
yeah.
she's a good follower of the Tinker.
Unlike that other guy.
Oh, geez. Don't even get me started. Anyway,
Filthy heathen hobgoblin.
so I used my blessings of Providence, and her next hit is going to have +1 damage.
Nice. I love damage. Is that French damage? What is that?
Damage. It's very stylish damage.
Nice. So let's do that, and then I'll get back to Jit and see what he's doing in response to the hate creature full of beaks and teeth.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to roll.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I
That is a
pull back on my bow.
Awesome.
It says technically it's +1 to her next check, so to hit.
Yeah, let's call it to hit. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what do I roll?
D20. Excuse me, a 20-sided die.
Yeah. Okay, I
Also
got
called
a
an Icostic
5.
if you're a nerd.
You can use your advantage. Remember, you have 6 charges of that advantage.
Right, which means roll 2 of them and pick the good one.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
I always felt like since the point of advantage is to give your players more options, they should be allowed to choose the crummy one if they want. I'm just not sure why they would.
All right, I rolled another one, got an 11.
Okay.
Plus,
That-
do I
right.
add my strength to that or anything?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's +2, which should make it 13.
Nice. Roll for damage.
And
Or-
then you also add the
3.
yeah. There's
Okay.
the +1 from the priest.
Oh, that's right. The +1 from the priest.
Okay, so that would be 14.
Yes.
And for the damage, what do I roll?
What is your bow do for damage?
Which bow do you have?
I think I just got a standard one. That's on my
Bow or hunting bow?
Let me
I
look
want to
up
say
there.
that's a D8, but I guess I'll double check. Hold on one second. Weapons.
Yeah, it's a hunting bow. Just a D8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll the 8-sided die.
Which I forget the name of at this moment.
Roll an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Just roll the 8. All right.
Yeah.
And then add your dex.
Oh goodness. With the dex, it's 2.
Nice.
Oh.
Because I have a
Nice.
-2 dex.
The arrow does fly true, but it kind of wobbles on the way there. Maybe it's going to be a gutter ball, maybe not. And you plunge the arrow into the side of this pulpy thing, and a little blood goes out of the side of it. A dribble of the orange stuff comes out, and it gets upset and starts to spin. Jit, what are you doing?
Okay, I'm standing outside of this cavern. How far is this creature away from me?
From you, about 50 feet.
And how much of it is out of the water?
All of it.
Oh,
It's a giant sphere covered in teeth and fangs and eyeballs.
so none of these pillars that have fallen down, they're not sort of blocking my view of this thing.
No, they were when they were standing up. Your view has gotten much better now.
Come on,
Okay,
use your fancy magic.
Right? You got magic juju powers. Wait.
I got nothing really.
Kind of like that.
I'm going to fire an arrow at him.
Okay. Just thought that was great.
There are lots of them.
So I have a question about the advantage here.
Sure.
Do I have to say I'm going to do advantage and then roll both die, or could I roll one? If it's a crappy roll, then roll the second and burn up one of my advantages?
Yeah, sure. Let's call it advantage user's choice. Yeah, sure.
Okay, good, because I rolled, a 5 and a 2.
Ouch. So what spell were you? Oh, you weren't. You were firing an arrow at it. That's right.
Yes.
So an arrow kind of wibble wobbles through the air and lands in the pool with a disheartening swoosh.
Okay. I'm going to move a little closer to the action.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
I'm going to move about 20 feet
Okay.
in.
Okay. That leaves you like 30 feet between you and the creature. Sounds
Right.
good. The creature starts to rotate and faster, and then it stops suddenly, and teeth just fly out of it.
Oh, nice.
And everybody should make a dex save that is hard because of how fast these teeth are moving.
What's hard?
3 as opposed to 11, you add 3 more. That's because I can do basic math, I swear. That's a
14?
14. Right.
12.
I failed.
You fail.
What do I roll?
A 20-sided die and add your dex modifier.
20 on the die.
And I took the advantage
Ooh,
on that
nice.
as well.
Is that a 14, Jit?
14 on the dice.
No,
Nice.
20 on the dice.
Sorry. Awesome.
Sorry.
So
Yeah,
not only does
I
he
was
know.
showing you a 14, but it's 20.
9.
I used
got
another
19.
advantage 20.
I got an
Nice.
18.
Okay. So, Voss and Ikael, Hermes, what did you get?
I had 12. I failed.
Okay. Jason, what did you get?
19.
Nice. So, Ikael, Hermes, and Voss all take 3 points of damage as teeth almost as long as a human femur whip past them and tear off
Ow.
a chunk of their flesh.
Oh, I just want to double check something real quick since we are in combat.
Sure.
Because we had that discussion before the game started.
Mhm.
Is everybody remembering to add their proficiency to their attack rolls?
No.
No.
No one told me to do
Yeah.
that.
I keep forgetting. I've been really bad about that. I have a
Do we-
guilt thing I'll give you here in a minute.
Do we add proficiency and the relevant modifier, or does that
Yes.
modifier just go on to damage?
You had your stat and the proficiency according to what Jay said before the game.
So,
Right.
for instance,
say I wield
but
my
only
great
if you're
axe. I
proficient
roll.
in the
There are too many
weapon.
people talking. I can't
Sorry.
hear.
Ikael, your arrow
Uh-huh.
would have been proficiency. Like, what's your dexterity modifier?
-2.
-2. You should not be fighting with a bow.
My character thinks
I
he can
don't
keep
know
up.
how to use it. Then you would add +2, so you'd actually be 0.
Yeah.
So actually, when you use your bow, you don't take anything
do
away.
anything.
It'll just be 0 because you're proficient.
The proficiency bonus of +2 equals out your negative modifier.
Okay. So I just don't add the modifier for the bow at all.
Right.
Okay.
Which is still a positive. So the three of you took, did I tell you how much damage? I did, right? 3.
You
Okay.
said 3.
Okay.
So that's the HP goes down 3, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I did that right.
Oh, good. Nobody's dead, hopefully?
Nobody's dead yet.
Far from
Oh,
it.
good. Ikael, it is your turn. You've just been perforated with a giant tooth coming out of what looks like a meatball from hell. What do you do?
I'm going to use my healer's kit.
Okay. This seems like a good idea.
Oh, shoot it with fire. You're helped. You're good. You got lots.
Shoot it with fire. Kill it dead. Okay.
Okay, what do I do with the healer's kit?
I imagine you're healing yourself with it, right?
Do I have to roll for anything?
No, let's roll a d4 and say you just patch yourself up that much.
Okay.
In 6 seconds?
That's why I said a d4 and not something better than that.
Okay.
Okay, I got a 2.
Okay, you just kind of you wrap yourself up with some blood and pull a piece of glass out of your left hand like in Far Cry, and you just heal 2 hit points.
Okay.
Jason, what are you doing?
I'm shouting to Hermes. I'm shouting, toss me, going for near him. And,
Toss me.
yeah.
He wants you to do the football
That's a
thing
really
again.
bad thing to say here.
And one also epic killing.
Do you want another epic spin throw? Okay, I'll try my
Yeah,
luck.
yeah.
Do you move towards him so that he can just huck you on his turn?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sure. You close the distance to Hermes. Let's say it's Hermes' turn. What are you doing?
Okay, okay, that changes my plan a bit. I suppose I will launch Jason.
Okay.
Or you can, or you not.
Just don't roll the 1.
I mean, how
Yeah.
how far away are the walls, and like how much movement would it take me to get above this thing on the ceiling?
Wait. So you're on the surface, you're on the floor, and you want to huck him at the ceiling?
No. If say this'll be, ignore that. How much movement would it take me myself to get up to the ceiling on my own?
On your own, your turn would allow you to close, and I don't mean your whole turn. I mean your movement step would allow you to. You're a big creature. You kind of your way up the side of the thing. If you don't really care about the structural integrity of the stone wall, you can get up there pretty fast.
Okay, right. So sorry, Jason, but I've got a plan. Okay, I'm gonna get above this thing.
I hope it was much fun as his old plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna get above this thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna draw my great axe. I'm gonna drop on top of it.
Okay. Roll
See, this is why the owlbear needs a saddle.
Roll a strength check. Not so much to see if you hit this thing. You probably can't miss. Just to see how much impact you make.
I rolled a 13. I
Okay.
didn't take the advantage, though. I
Okay.
think I'll leave it at that.
Roll for damage. I assume you are wanting to strike this thing, not just hug it on the way by.
Yeah, I want to hurt him. Oh, 1
Ooh.
plus 5.
It's better than a 1.
No,
So
I rolled a 1, and my proficiency is +2, and my strength is +2.
as you like this flying lunge off of the roof, off of the ceiling, you drive your giant axe into the top of this thing and go careening through the middle of it and plop out the bottom into the water. And right before you hit the water, everybody sees you covered in that orange viscous, which hurts, and a lot of blood that isn't yours. You take 2 points of damage from the orange goo, and there's a huge, ragged hole in the side of this thing. Boss, what are you doing?
I'd take another shot at it with my bow.
Okay.
I got, hey, that's good numbers. That's a 21 to hit.
Nice.
And 9 damage.
Nice. You fire an arrow into the big pulpy bit, and this thing starts to kind of dislodge, like it's lost its balance as you hit it with the arrow. It kind of
Oh, good.
and does a lot of, like the Death Star, right as it gets blown up. It kind of deflates and spins around a little bit, and then it starts to seize. Jit, what are you doing?
Wait, it's having a
Firing an
seizure?
arrow.
It's having a seizure. Jit, what are you doing?
Firing an arrow.
Nice.
Oh, God. Well, I'm going to use my second advantage there. And, 18 on the dice, so 20.
Nice. Roll for damage.
5.
Nice. You fire an arrow into that big, ugly hole that Hermes tore out of this thing, like a really mean dentist. You fire an arrow into this thing, blood squirts out of it, more of that orange stuff falls all over the ground and melts a bunch of the stone pillars at this point. And the creature falls into the pool and water goes everywhere.
Am I still on top of him?
I assumed you tore through him and kind of ended up in the pool of water.
Okay.
This thing
right.
goes past you into the water and kind of and sinks. And as you, I assume you don't go after it. I assume you're kind of owl bear doggy paddling.
I'm assuming that like I wouldn't be that good at swimming, like diving.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be making my way away.
As you pull yourself up out of the murder pool, you watch the light in this thing go farther and farther away and then go out.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Can I do something?
Sure, please.
Well, never one to miss a moment for theatrics here. So assuming we've killed, is this creature incapacitated?
That would be a fair assessment.
Okay. Then I reach into the sky with my Tinker's hammer, and I say, "By the power of the Tinker, I banish you to eternal chaos. Bring order to the new world." And I smash my hammer on the ground, and I cast Condemn with advantage, and I roll a 12, and it is dead.
Nice. You feel resonating in the hammer confirmation that the soul of this thing will suffer for eternity.
Just for clarity, I have a power that if a creature is incapacitated, if it can hear me, maybe I shouldn't have said that, it instantly dies.
Which is crazy bugger nuts.
But, I just want to claim this kill for the Tinker here.
One down, a whole bunch more to go. Darian, what are you doing?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
This Tinker's hammer.
Uh-huh.
Is this like a war hammer that you use as a weapon, or is it like a little hammer that you have as a holy symbol, and then use something else as a weapon?
It is my weapon. It's not super powerful. It's not a really big hammer. Sort of like a glorified hammer-shaped shillelagh, and it does D7 damage.
A what now?
A D7, because he has a D7 and he wanted to use it, and who am I to deny the player, you know?
All right. Sure.
It's also my holy symbol.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need diagrams after the game of how the hell a D7 works.
Yeah, there are D9s and all kinds of squirrely dice.
Okay.
You see that the 5 is actually drawn on the apex of the corner.
Oh, weird.
That is super weird.
Okay.
Now
All right.
my head hurts. Adarian, what are you doing in the wake of the giant creature?
So he is dead now, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
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 Right. Okay. So I'm gonna break free my warhammer and I'm gonna slide down its tentacles and land on the surface.
It's fallen into the abyss.
Right. You'll have to pry your way out of it and swim up.
Okay.
Oh.
As you do that, you feel this incredible warmth and extra effort. You effortlessly kind of soar through the water and land on the surface. And you watch as a bunch of what look like people, except they're translucent, spin around all of you and shower you with praise and thanks.
Oh, good.
Free
Is any of these
souls.
people the librarian?
Straight to it.
Right, I don't care about that. I don't want the fields. I want the books. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Them damn books.
one of the big books. Say again?
I was going to say, do I see those suction cup things moving around still?
You see a bunch of them, but they're not moving around. They look pretty. A lot of them have been crushed by the rocks. Some of them are kind of flapping, stuck out of the sides of the rocks.
Okay.
But there are none like zipping around like evil little ping pong balls. No.
All right. I'm going to go around and I'm going to just start like stabbing them with my sword.
To make sure. Okay.
Just to make, the ones that are wiggling,
Okay.
I stab them. Just
Let's say you find 16 of those for perforating practice.
I want to make sure they don't get up and attack us again.
Hermes, you come across one of the ghosts that looks, how do we say, more stereotypically scholarly than the other ones. Big goofy glasses, right, with tape and a crack, right. Pocket protector, except it's not that time. and he kind of hovers over you for a second and then goes back to the others. If you wanted his attention for more than a second, you'd have to find a way to do that.
Right, that's okay. It's not for me anyway. It's for Jit.
Okay.
So I'm watching in awe is what I'm doing. Like confusion and awe. Because confusion is a lot of my character.
Well, you are an owlbear, right? Awakened,
Yeah.
but just a little bit. You know what I mean?
This thing is like, doesn't have a clue what's going on.
The ghosts spin and vibrate and whirl around like some big washing machine of praise, and then they dissipate into sparkly light, and you all feel fantastic, and you are level 3.
Level 3. Woot!
You're level 3.
Oh boy.
Woo.
I feel fantastic.
A lot of complicated stuff. Where's Mickey?
Oh yeah, it's archetype choosing time. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Are we leveling mid-session?
I mean, we did last time.
Sounds good to me. I guess it's quicker in this game than in some other games I've played.
Like Pathfinder. Oh man.
Right.
That game hurts my head with all the options. I saw the Pathfinder 2 book. That's like 400 pages. It's enormous.
Yeah, but it's mostly like picking spells. Most of it isn't rules.
Oh, that makes me feel better. I did not open it. That's fair.
But I don't particularly like it, but most of it isn't rules. Most of it is, here's a bunch of options. Pick one that applies to you out of this list of 50.
Nice. Do you guys want to level right now, or do you want to play some more and we'll do it after?
I mean, I can do this in like 2 minutes.
I've been rocking around as if I've been a ranger the whole time, which I think is my archetype.
Oh, nice. I rolled an 8
For what?
for my HP.
Nice.
I rolled a
What's my
10.
hit dice again? It's a D10, isn't it?
For a warrior,
So what do
yes.
I have to
You
do?
can, yep. Plus your constitution modifier.
6
What was that,
plus
Sam?
1.
Be nice if I had
What
one.
do I have to do with this leveling up stuff?
At level 3, you
Yeah.
roll your hit points again, which is
What
a
die do I have to roll?
8-sided die. What'd you get?
Okay.
Are we keeping our damage?
Yes. Leveling doesn't auto heal you.
Not like Diablo.
Yeah.
Wait, so whatever that number was with the D8 is what goes in the damage.
Oh.
No.
Or
You
the
roll the
HP
d8.
box?
What number did you get on the
Point.
What did I just get? I got a 6,
Okay, add your con modifier.
which is a -1.
Ouch. So that's a 5 then. You have 5 additional hit points. So whatever your maximum total is right now, increase it by another 5. But you don't
Luckily,
heal.
I got 11.
Nice. And at level 3, you choose your archetype. Do you have the book in front of you?
I
I
don't,
do.
but I said
I
I was
got-
going to be a druid.
Okay, as a druid, excellent. You
I
have a
have it
couple.
right here if you want me to read the options.
That would be helpful. I forget what they are.
You can
Excellent.
choose to speak with nature, leave no trail. None of them are defined, so it's sort of up to the DM. Immune to poison. No need to eat. Or you can have wild skin, which is once per rest you can become a 1 HP bird, rat, frog, or tiny creature. And one says ADV advantage to wilderness, or
That's what it means, right?
Yeah,
Whenever
okay.
you would make any kind of wilderness-related check, you can roll with advantage.
Okay. I think I'll go with the talking to nature one.
Sounds good.
That would include animals, right?
Animals, rocks, trees, you name it.
Okay. What was the specific wording of that again, so I can put it in my notes?
Speak with nature.
Speak with nature.
I spoke to the rocks. The rocks do not recall.
Right.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of
Under
course.
fighter, what does orders, movement, ally, can active action mean?
Oh, that one, yes. So that means on your turn, you can still take your movement, but you essentially burn your active action to give someone else an extra one instead. Like in this moment on your turn, somebody.
Oh,
else
gotcha.
gets- Right. It's kind of like you give your active action to them.
So it'd be like, wizard, cast a spell.
Right.
And then he gets an extra turn. Or Hermes, toss me.
Yeah. Hey, I copyright that bullshit. Let's go.
And then, well, you're a warrior, right? Take order.
Adaria, you're new. Do you have any questions?
Gimli in Lord of the Rings at Helm's Deep, where he has to tell Aragorn to toss him.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking.
That's great. Adarian, did you have any questions?
No, I think I've got it pretty much. I'm gonna pick
Excellent.
the melee crit 19 to 20, I think.
Nice. Mages are usually pretty interesting. Jit, what did you choose for an archetype?
I think I'm going for the warlock.
Okay, cool.
And
You can be the only dude in the party with dark vision if you want it.
doesn't Hobgoblin have dark vision?
No, because 5 Torches Deep doesn't have any racial bonuses.
Oh, that's right.
The Owlbear doesn't get additional strength or anything,
Nor the dwarf.
nor the
Yeah,
dwarf.
yeah,
right.
no me.
Well, I don't know. Do I want dark side or do I want to wear some better armor?
Oh,
Or do I want
yeah,
to
totally
fight
up to
with a
you.
better weapon?
I kind of feel like I'm more of a paladin type cleric.
You're kind of paladin-y.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, it's totally your character, and I don't want to offer up any influence. I agree with
want to take martial proficiency so that I can have a better weapon,
you. Sure.
but then I need to find it.
I'm going to
A
take
better weapon? Yeah.
Well, I need to be able to continue to use my Pinker's hammer, but I need it to be like a
You're holy symbol.
Here's an idea. As opposed to finding a new weapon, how do you feel about reforging the one you have now?
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
Okay, cool.
Like,
Well, we could probably do that back in the village made of.
Yeah. Well,
got
I
a
got
point.
a Smith's kit, and per our earlier discussion, I can apparently use my Smith's kit to forge weapons, right?
Yes, Alex brought up this interesting point. He said, hey, so warriors come out of the gate with a smith kit, but it doesn't mention that they're proficient in its use. This seems a bit weird. So I was like, yeah, that does seem a bit weird. I initially thought of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Armorer as a skill. And I don't know. It just, like, yeah, all right, let's say you can use it. Who would...
So when we have downtime, any of the warriors can reforge your hammer.
I don't want to be troublesome, but unless you believe in the power of the Tinker, I'm pretty sure I would not have you reforge my weapon.
There are several warriors here. Some of them seem to follow your hokey religion.
Oh, here we go.
But I believe it's a blacksmith, so why not?
Hey, Jay,
Yeah.
the sacrifice, is that only for magic or is that all weapons?
Sacrifice. In the Warlock?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Whatever you're looking to do. Anytime you would deal damage.
So I would kind of like cut myself, and do I roll 1d6 if I do it with a dagger to see how much damage I cause myself before I...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You just... So say you're going to use a D6 weapon, right? You roll you just decide how much damage you want to take. Your maximum damage you can take is whatever your current maximum level is. So right now you can't take more than damage self max. Yes, so you can take your up to 3 points of damage and just tack it on the end of that D6 when the damage happens.
Okay. I'm gonna go protective. I'm gonna choose the wear light armor.
Good call.
Okay, so I have a quick question before I decide.
Yeah, sure.
In 5th edition, normally, you count as your own ally for all game mechanic purposes. Is that the case in this game?
I would say yes. Unless you're currently being brainwashed or something, there's a battle of wills going on in your brain. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then if I were to take Phalanx, allies gain +1 AC when near me. That's +1 AC to me, and then if other people are near me, they get +1 AC as well?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with yes.
Does that sound like something that people would be interested in doing, forming up for extra AC?
I want to be in melee combat. That's what I want. I'm into more AC.
Okay, well, I built a switch hitter, so sometimes I'm sword and shield, sometimes I'm using a bow.
Is there a range to that
Yeah, I was gonna say,
bonus
what's
for
the
us?
The phalanx, yes, about 10 feet,
10
give or take.
Oh.
Okay.
So as long as you're,
Okay.
10 feet from Voss, you're good. So I suppose from your position to his, a maximum of about 15. Enough space that if you're on a tiled board, straight line of 3 characters. Straight line of 3 characters who are all large or smaller.
Formations are very in line with the Tinker.
Yeah, I bet they are.
So if I grab Phalanx, other people will use it?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit more order for everything.
Okay, that is now a thing that I'm going to have that everybody can benefit from.
That's exciting.
Right near me, +1 AC.
Nice.
That rhymes, so it must be true.
Oh, I have to stand up.
Sam, you okay? You look tired or worse, bored.
Well, I told you that this was my 5th Zoom meeting of the day. I'm just
You do
tired.
look pretty beat, yeah. You don't have to come, If you want to,
No, this is fun. It's fun.
Oh,
I'm
good.
a little tired. I am enjoying myself.
Oh, good.
Just a little tired. Had to teach
Tired?
math on Zoom.
And how'd that go?
Not too bad. The kid was actually more focused than he is in the classroom.
Huh.
His reasoning was because he is comfortable. I think it was because it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, not 10 o'clock in the morning.
You might
And
both be
less
right.
distractions.
And his parents would have given him a beat down if he didn't listen.
Did you say you were doing mixed fractions?
That they were doing for AIS. I was teaching algebra.
You need to look on YouTube because Flula is teaching mixed fractions. You know Flula on YouTube?
I have not seen them before.
German. He's a German fellow, and it's very funny. But he
Yeah.
teaches it legitimately correctly.
It just happens
Maybe I'll
to
give
be
it to
funny
him for
because his
something to
name
do
is
on
Flula.
Fridays when I don't actually directly teach him math.
Nice.
I give him Fridays off. Torture him 4 days a week. Make him do remedial stuff the other day.
Cool. So here you are in a blown out hole in a blown out ruin.
But it's our blown out hole and our blown out ruin now.
That's very true. That is a good point. It is your shithole, yeah.
Rights removed.
So now we need to go back to Gideon to find out where the
Is there any
There's a
proof
goblin.
we can bring back?
I mean,
Hermes is full of like orange blood.
I'm still covered in
right,
orange
he
goop, I
is
suppose.
covered in guck. If it
yeah,
wasn't-
we need to heal Hermes.
I'm fine.
You're fine. Oh yeah, you
Don't
just
worry.
leveled up, so you're
Yeah, right.
I've
it's
taken
like
I've
an
taken
itch,
5
you know?
damage.
That's not too bad.
My current HP is 21.
then you
Not
don't need to be
bad.
healed.
Right.
Ooh.
Tough it out.
Yeah, let's save the med kits for people who need them later, because I'm sure we will.
Well, by the way, I have healing that I got at second level that I kind of forgot about. So once per safe rest, I can heal 3d6 damage, actually.
Oh yeah, we both.
Oh, that would heal everybody.
I have the bread too, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Hey,
forgot about that.
Jay, I have another question for you.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't like when I leveled up, I didn't add any magic because I'm just assuming I can't unless I find something, right?
Oh no, feel free to take a spell.
Oh, okay.
Feel free to take a spell. I did not cover that. 5 Torches Deep expresses that you have to find it or whatever. While I will be throwing spells at you as loot and various findables and collectibles.
Bearing in mind we are
Feel
about to
free
have
to take
full
them out of the
access
book,
to
though.
a library within our own underground city.
Right. Feel free to pluck some spells out of the book that you like. If there's a spell that you really, really like that's in some other system, as long as it's not a cantrip that deals damage, it doesn't bring somebody back from the dead, feel free to take it.
Oh, wait. 5e spells are on the table?
Absolutely, as long as they're not cantrips that deal damage and they don't bring people back from the dead.
I will remember that if this guy dies, because when I was looking at possibly building that war priest, I looked at the divine list and they were all Healy focused.
Once you are high enough level for your spells, for like 9th level spells to be an option, 5 Torches Deep levels only go to 9. But once we get to level 10, if we get to level 10, you just take another thing out of your proficiency chart and gain 1 more hit point. And you would do this every time you leveled forever. At a certain point, you would run out of proficiency options to take, but you can still get that additional hit point every level.
Oh, good to
What
know.
about multi-classing?
Multi-classing, feel free to do that.
Oh, really?
Whenever, yeah.
Oh.
The math allows you to have, like at 18th level, cast 9th level spells. But because of the check required to do that, the math won't be in your favor. But feel free to cast something like Wish. Just, you don't want to fail because that magical mishap table sucks. Yeah, I asked the Dutters a lot of questions about this book. I was like, hey, what about this and this and that?
So then if at a later level I want to pick up level 1 in some other class or eventually get to level 3 in another class and qualify for an archetype, that's fine?
Yeah, you bet. Go for it.
Good to know.
The Dutters were pretty fussy that cantrips that deal damage risk challenging their balance. The resurrection thing is all I don't like characters coming back from the dead. Not just kind of because whenever. I don't know. The resurrection spell seemed kind of cheap to me. But if you really, really want that, I suppose we could include it.
1 second.
Well, I think the only fair way to bring people back from the dead
Is
is
your life insurance plan you came up with that time?
Oh, that life insurance plan is my standard D&D playing way to go. That's just how you do it. You prepay the temple for your resurrection, and you have them periodically try to contact you. If they fail, they raise you back from the dead.
Didn't you have like an extra amount of gold set aside so in the case that they found that you were on another plane that was still taken care of?
Yes.
That's insane.
So
But
if
very
they don't get a hold of you and then you are alive and they try to raise you from the dead, what mischief happens?
Well, I mean, they cast sending, right? So long as I'm on the same plane, they'll get a hold of me.
They get a little hot pocket shingle and they know it's okay.
But I suppose if I'm like imprisoned on another plane and I can't talk, they might cast a spell and it might fail.
But it's cool because he paid for it already.
Right. I might be out my deposit.
Yeah, right.
I'll be right back, guys.
So are we traveling back to the town?
You certainly can. I don't think there's anything for you in this cave.
And I mean,
That's what our
There's
plan
no way
was.
anyone could go to the bottom of this pool and try and get some loot out of this thing, is there?
It's pretty deep. You would have to, let's see, none of you have the ability to breathe underwater. So you would need to make con checks after a certain point to essentially hold your breath. But you could, yeah.
It might not be worth it.
Maybe
I
not.
dare say I'd probably be disadvantaged somehow for being a heavily armored owl bear.
Well, I mean, you might sink faster, you know.
Yeah.
Don't swim.
But it's getting back up
Swimming
that I
back
want
up is
the worry. That's more important than getting down.
But barring sniffing around the cavern some more, yeah, the only other immediate option is to go see Gideon.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay,
I'm
so
happy with that, if that's what everyone else wants to do.
Yeah.
I definitely want to release his soul.
Sure. You guys march back to the village. I assume the hobgoblin who is not present. Oh, he is present.
Hi.
Hey.
I just want to show what this amazing plate of food that I just received. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
He's got a big fancy plate of food. I just have a thing of water. But, you know. I think my wife's out there making soup. So I like soup. And it's wet and gross here, so it's a soup kind of day.
Yeah, it's kind of gross here too.
Rainy and windy here.
Oh, yeah.
Randy, Andy.
About an hour before we started play, I had a brownout, and I was like, oh, crap. I hope that isn't an issue for Gay. Because I need
Where
the
are
computer.
you newcomers from anyway?
Wales.
Joe lives around the corner from me.
Yeah.
From.
All right.
And it's been bloody beautiful since lockdown. So
We've had a bit of we've
Yeah,
missed
just
out
rub
on
it
all the
in.
good weather.
not even
And-
rub it.
Because
We
we're stuck
can't go
inside
anywhere.
for it. We can't exactly go to the beach,
You can't go to the beach. You can't go to the park unless it's for exercise, and that's it.
which none of us want to do.
And the worst thing, to go to yeah,
We're not even allowed to the park.
the worst
We are
thing is
exercising
that
our imaginations right
for us,
now.
for us to go to a supermarket, we have to queue.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's that about?
You
Can't
have to-
just walk in anymore.
You
I had to brave the grocery store on Thursday, and I swear there are just as many cars in the parking lot as there were over a month ago before this happened.
A friend of mine lives in New York City and is consistently stunned since quarantine happened at how bustling the New York Central Park is. And he goes, seriously? Like,
Yeah, that's what everyone who lives in the city is telling me. I'm in upstate New York. I'm about 7 hours outside of the city. I'm like an hour and a half from Niagara Falls.
Okay.
So,
In
You're
France,
my closest
people.
neighbor.
and what?
I'm in Toronto.
Okay.
Okay. I'm about 4 hours, 3.5 ish away from Toronto. I'm in London.
Oh yeah. Well, we have another Canadian, right on.
Yeah. So for everybody who doesn't know where London, Ontario is, it's about halfway between Toronto and Detroit.
I was going to say London is in
I was going to say
England.
London. That's down the road, right?
4-hour drive from here.
We have a Paris too. We got
Seriously?
Jesus,
Yeah.
what?
I know.
Australia's got a new
Egypt is a couple
Wales as
towns
well.
over
What
from
the
me.
hell's going on?
There's this really funny picture about for when you're Canadian and you're too poor for your Europe vacation, and it's just like a road trip where you stop at all of the cities in Ontario that are named after major European capitals, and there's like 10 of them.
That's
It's probably
great.
the same guy that named all the places in New York after European places.
There's a Springfield in every United state, even Canada, even Alaska and Florida, which boggles my mind. The idea of a Springfield, Alaska hurts the brain.
To say when Simpsons doesn't want to know the real location.
Right.
I mean, that's why they picked that name. 'Cause
It is, right. Because they don't want to give it
every
away.
state has one.
I grew up in Springfield, New Hampshire, which is this tiny, it's pathetically small. It's a 2-cop town, one on weekends, and that is not a joke. It is.
Yep.
It is.
I grew up
tiny.
half an hour away from him.
Yeah.
Jay and I went to high school together.
Oh, it's tiny.
7 towns in our whole school district. We had like 133 in our graduating class from 7 towns.
Something like that. Yeah, it was. Let's see
Seriously, I
that.
think it was 133. That number sticking in my head.
Really, the town hall contains the town hall, the officials for that kind of thing, the police station, up until fairly recently the kindergarten, and the town library, all in the same building. But across the street is an enormous fire station. Way too big.
Yeah, my hometown housed one of the 4 elementary schools in the district, so we were kind of a little bigger.
Oh,
Where in New York State are you?
Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay,
Rochester?
Yeah.
Rochester.
Welcome to Worcester. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to high school in Niagara Falls, so I'm
Okay.
familiar with Rochester. I've been there a few times.
I'm
A
planning to
lot
go
of
to
county
Florida
parks, so
next
it's really
year.
easy to get out and still social distance, thankfully.
Wait,
Our
you're gonna
parks
go to
have been
Florida
busy.
to visit?
Like, yeah.
Why?
My other half, she's a Disney fan, so
Disneyland.
Disney.
I see.
He's gonna go for a 2-week holiday.
2-week
to
holiday in
Disneyland.
Disney.
No, I meant
Not
to
to
ask.
Florida, to Disneyland.
Yeah, they're closed at the moment. We're on about next year in October, hopefully.
Before we get back around to going to touch base with Gideon, I wanted to double check. Did you say that you have to queue to go to the grocery store, like single file line?
Yeah, single file,
Yeah,
2 meters
that's
apart.
a big thing in the UK.
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here.
it's
We
terrible.
invented that.
Getting that
Eh.
way.
2
Yeah.
meters apart.
And not just that, when you go
know,
in,
everybody's 2 meters apart on the way in. They only let like 30 people in the store at a time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And there's arrows down, so only like all certain aisles are only one-way aisles. So you have to go zigzag
Yeah.
each one.
Yeah.
So you go through the fruit and veg,
They
you check your
my
list,
favorite grocery
and you
store. They
like,
put the arrows down. They put up like carts as makeshift walls
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
to make everybody queue
yeah,
up.
we've
But
got
there's
that.
nobody enforcing that or
Oh, there
No,
is.
there's no one-
Over
there's
here
no one
is.
enforcing-
I see.
They're giving
not
out
been enforced
tickets.
going the wrong way.
I got told off 6 times today.
They're giving out tickets
In
like
Toronto, they're giving out $800 tickets if you're loitering in a park.
Oh,
Wow.
they've done that on the beach
Whoa.
down
New
by.
York City's fines are up to
Barry.
$1,000 for
Whoa.
violating social distancing.
Dang.
But
They are
NYPD
supposed
is
to
not
get
enforcing.
fines. We don't know how much. I don't think. I know in
I think it's
France,
I've seen people for like 200, 250 £250. Well, that's about it.
that's not too bad. That's not.
Like,
I
I
mean,
saw-
that's still not great. But
Yesterday, I actually saw that there's a family took a fishing trip 200 miles away from their house and they got fined $2,000.
Wow.
That's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Who are they going to infect?
Travel.
It's stupid.
It
I mean,
is.
I know-
I
I'm not
can't wait
saying
for it
that
to be
it's
over. Like,
socially
jeez.
distant, But some of this
I
stuff
know in
is
France,
ridiculous.
if someone sees like a police officer, they just start jogging on the spot because they're allowed to do that for exercise.
Exercise, boss.
I am taking a run.
A friend of mine.
In the midst of all of this, our cable and internet company, which we really only have one person we can get cable and internet from, or one company, they just did their yearly rate hike.
Of course they did. It's a Cox Cable.
Oh,
Mhm.
great.
I used to work at the call center for Cox Cable. They're a terrible company.
Yeah, we have company called Spectrum, and when this happened, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna give all these families who don't have internet free internet." It's like only if you've never, ever, ever, ever been a customer.
Of course.
But the rest of you are getting kicked in the pants, right?
Yeah. If I wanted to go just to internet, I get cable and internet right now. It would cost me $75 a month, which is like, for some people, like 2 weeks worth of groceries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's about the same as what it is here, and it's also about 2 weeks worth of groceries. Internet's really expensive in Canada.
Jeez.
So is TV.
Wow.
Fun.
Like, how much do you pay for your internet?
Like $85.
Like, I pay for
pay
my
about
TV,
20
phone,
quid.
and internet is £35
Oh, don't even talk to
for a month.
Yeah, with the
Get outta
cable, it's
Look at
and
that.
all the fees. It's $131 a month for cable.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Nameless knows what I'm talking about.
The worst thing is I pay £35 a month, and yeah, I don't even use the TV package. It's just cheaper with it.
I don't have a TV package because it was totally pointless.
Pardon? What?
I mean,
Yeah, we want to get rid of
I
the
was gonna
TV,
come
but
get
it's
one,
not worth
yeah,
it.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
as they're saying often, it's cheaper to have the TV than not have the TV.
Definitely.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go do something. I'll be right back.
Okay, so all of the people who I told about my funny, you can go on your Europe vacation in Canada.
yeah.
I shared a little link to the screenshot. It's a tiny URL link in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
So if you click on it, you'll see the ridiculous map where you can go to Copenhagen, Vienna, London, Paris, Lisbon, Dublin, and Brussels.
sounds like
Jesus.
Yeah,
Vegas,
it's probably
but
the same
like,
guy that named half of the cities in New York, because we have, we have Egypt, we have Mexico, we have Syracuse,
Wait, you have Egypt, the city?
we have a town. It's a village within a town.
That's
There's a
something
town called
special.
Mexico that's near Oswego.
and
It's amazing.
These aren't like New Egypt, New Mexico. This is just
No,
Egypt,
just
and
Egypt and
Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Like,
What, Mike? What have we got? We got what?
We've-
Swansea,
we've got
Bristol.
York.
York.
Yeah,
We got York.
There's a new version of that in America.
Yeah.
We got England. There's a New England in America.
Have they got a
Yeah,
Scotland
that's all the
yet?
whole Northeast.
Have they got a
Their whole section
Scotland?
of the Northeast is New England.
York is also a district in Toronto, by the way.
Fun.
What is?
Oh yeah. Well, Toronto and all of Southern Ontario are full of Scottish name place and
Right.
English
Yeah.
place
What-
names.
What
I live
would
in
you?
Scarborough.
I live in New Scotland.
Yeah,
You're Sc-
and I live in
What?
Scarborough, and Barry's
Is it-
from
I
Scarborough.
know that there's a New South Wales in Australia.
Yeah, New South
we call
Wales.
it Nova Scotia.
Wait. Is it actually called New South Wales?
Give it a
Yeah, it's
It's
called
New
New
South
South
Wales.
Wales. Yeah.
I think
great.
like I think that they're
it's when-
sort of
when-
allied with the UK somehow.
Yeah, it's when they want to be Welsh, but they truly can't be.
Well, New South Wales
Because-
is where they
Who wanna
send all
be
the
Welsh?
criminals.
What? Everyone wants to be Welsh.
No,
Literally,
I'm
when we
good.
have-
Thanks.
We have a rugby tournament, right? In the UK called the Six Nations, right? And it's
Not
Ireland,
just in the UK,
Scotland.
though. It's within
Shut
6
up.
nations.
Yes, shut the fuck up. There's Ireland. It's Ireland,
okay,
France.
we're friends.
Yeah. Ireland, France, England, Italy, Scotland, Wales all playing a tournament, and literally, whenever any other team goes against England, everyone supports the other team. except
Yeah,
England.
no one likes.
one gives
Everyone
a
hates
fuck about
England.
England.
We all watch the England games. We support Wales and whoever is against England at the time.
We have that here with Red Sox baseball. Red Sox and Yankees. There seems to be this.
I hear things like that on TV and
Right. Yeah, like
movies
Patriots.
and
Right.
whatnot.
I think
Well,
the most
Someone
insult that
actually
you
has a chance to win against the Patriots now because Brady finally left. Buffalo can finally win.
Go,
The
hey, are
division.
you a Bills fan too?
Well, I've been in Rochester for 10 years. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, I
then
grew up
you
in
have
New
to be
England.
by default.
I have a friend of mine who grew up in New York, but worked with me in New Hampshire for, like 7 years. And that entire time, he remained a Giants fan because he grew up in New York and caught
But the
shit
Giants
for
are in New Jersey.
it.
So are the
Buffalo's
Jets.
the only New York team.
Right,
Buffalo's
maybe he grew
the
up.
only true New York team.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a Giants fan, and he caught shit for it every year, endlessly. right? Because he's in the wrong spot for that. And one day I said, Antoine, why don't you just change sides? And he goes, because you and I both know it would only get worse, right? Then I'd be a traitor.
That's so true.
Right? And it would only get worse.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
fact.
that's what it's like here. My girlfriend is English, and yeah, anytime a rugby game comes on, it's just full on, just
arguments.
like slur and abuse. Yeah.
I think the most insult a Welshman can see is like when everyone across the world is
Wales
like, "Oh,
is
so
not in
you're
England."
English, are you?" And you're like, "Don't you fucking piss!" It's like, I am not English.
Yeah, Wales is not in England. We're next to England.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You're
we
like
would
the
space out,
other-
but we can't.
I will say, as someone who's not from the British Isles, the accents sound fairly similar to me.
What?
They have the letter H.
Listen, we do have the letter H. Yes, we
Hermes,
do.
Ireland without the
If
Do you
me and
want
my
me to sing the
girlfriend-
Welsh national anthem?
Oh,
Yeah,
please don't do that.
speak a
I
pretty-
understand Welsh is a language on top of that, but when you're speaking English, it sounds similar to me to an English accent.
I can't have
No,
you sing
there's-
the Welsh anthem. I can't have that many swears here. Okay.
Well,
It's not swears. It's just like lots of and
Yeah, a lot of phlegm.
a lot of weird
Like-
sounds. Yeah.
I
Michael,
can't have that much vulgarity into the microphone.
are you Welsh? Are you from Wales?
I
Yeah,
am
born
from
and bred.
Wales. Yeah.
Because when I heard your accents, I thought Joe sounds more Welsh.
Oh,
Now-
yeah, boy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
live
happy
with-
with that result. Thank you.
I live with a girl from Hertfordshire, which is
Oh,
in England.
wait.
Hang on, now you
Blaming-
can't pass the blame. What are you doing?
I live
Actually,
with
His
this woman.
girlfriend.
Brown people. I don't sound like I'm from New Hampshire anymore. I mean, you guys laughed at how I said Rochester.
Hang on.
I've been here for 10
Mike,
years.
how long has she
understand that.
lived in Wales?
Years. I don't know how long.
Yeah, what was that? That's not a word.
Come on, Mike.
I mean, accents go away. I don't have my New Brunswick accent anymore.
I used to have a proper Welsh accent, but then I moved to Cardiff and I got this god awful Cardiff accent.
Okay, no, I'll pick up and say that Cardiff is literally the worst Welsh accent.
It
In
is, isn't it?
Swansea, it's brilliant. Pontypridd, which is like 3 miles away, 4 miles away, is bloody beautiful. Cardiff
Yeah.
is just like, hi.
My old accent from when I lived in Hela Q was lovely. I loved it. And then yeah, it went away because I became affiliated with all of these people.
Because Chloe wants to move to Pontypridd.
Does
I
she?
used to have like a toned down version of a Cape Breton accent because all my family's from there.
All right.
And it's sort of-
that sounds like a name.
Yeah, that's a place. Cape Breton is
It's a name
It's
of a place.
on the northern tip of Nova Scotia, just south of Newfoundland. The accent's very similar to a Newfie accent.
It's beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, my family's from there, but I grew up in New Brunswick, but I spent a lot of time around my extended family. So I had like a watered-down version of that was somewhere between that and like a typical New Brunswick accent.
See, I think
Recently,
the
I
best Welsh
discovered-
accent is always North Wales.
I don't
reckon.
know.
North Wales is pretty good accent.
But so as a result, I don't say garage, I say garage.
Garage?
We say
Sorry,
garage.
Garage. We say garage.
Garage.
Gosh.
My grandfather always pronounced it grudge, like there was a D in it.
Grad.
Garage.
I think that's pretty common throughout Canada. Grad. That's how my dad always said it. Never-
Really? That's cool.
That's a weird one.
Names are a
Garage.
strange thing. I
Oh,
don't
and they never said couch. They always refer. It's like Kleenex. They always refer to it by like the first big company that built them at the time. So they called it a Chesterfield. Yeah.
What? Ours is a sofa.
Yeah.
We get that a lot here with skill saw. When somebody says, "Hey, hand me the skill saw. Do you own a skill saw?" I'm like, "Whoa. Look, Skill is a brand, okay? They make lots of saws. I need you to bring that.
Yeah, because
Just
we've
pass
got
me the
like,
saw.
That was a type of saw.
you guys have crescent wrenches. We have vice grips.
Those are two
You know what?
different
In
things.
Newfoundland,
No,
the
they're the
crescent
exact
wrench is
same
called
thing.
a thumb wrench.
A thumb
Really?
wrench.
And you'd be, if you're on a crew with a Newfie, you'd be like, "Hey, get us a Tom wrench bike."
I'd have no, like I've got this
Lord Thunder and Jesus.
toolbox, I wouldn't know what to hand you.
Oh God.
A thumb wrench. That's cool. I didn't know that.
You know, because you do it with your thumb.
Right.
All right, so are we good to continue?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all for it. But that was great. I didn't really want to interrupt.
I think everybody's just like human contact. Casual.
A little bit.
Conversation.
There's another person, and they want to talk to me. Right.
I was at the grocery store today. I ran into a woman from my church, and it was just like, "Hello, how are you doing?" Stayed apart, but it was you could just see the longing in our eyes.
Someone who doesn't live in my house.
I know you.
So the best thing is when you go into a supermarket and instead of actually having coronavirus, you just have a really bad tickle and you cough and everyone just stares at you.
But they go away, which is
It's just like,
brilliant.
what are you doing?
The winter
wife
is just
evacuate.
and here everything's blooming, and allergy season is in full
Right?
rage. So you walk outside and you
Literally everyone's cutting their grass and it's like hay fever is just going through the roof. It's so
you
nice
cough
weather.
or
Everyone's
sneeze,
trying to
and
find
the
what to
coronavirus
do.
is just allergies.
We go to the hospital once a week right now, and
What?
I didn't have a cough for any reason all day. As soon as we walk into as soon as we go to the hospital, and everybody's like,
It's your brain, isn't it? You're like, right, okay, we don't want people here don't like coronavirus, and then your brain's
Right.
like, how about we
Get
make them
out,
think
you
you got
freak.
coronavirus?
Right. People
I've
turn
never
around and
seen-
they got aerosol and they're tucking up their shirt over their mask. Right? Like it was really bad.
Like I've seen people with full-on gas masks, nylon gloves, and a tape measure just
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure you're 2 meters apart.
Yeah, I keep waiting for like the Mad Max, the guys with the crazy mohawks and the ridiculous like polyplastic armor and the ridiculous gas mask.
Oh,
God.
so that 2 meters thing.
Ah,
Oh, I saw somebody who was like, okay, so is it 2 meters or 6 feet? Because they're not the same.
yeah. Not strictly speaking, I suppose they're not.
They're not quite the same.
They're pretty close.
39 point something inches, and 3 feet is 36.
Right.
Teacher alert.
I
So
know.
there's like a half difference. Oh my goodness.
I was also reading that the 6 feet / 2 meters, that's only if you are standing around indoors, not moving quickly, and only for coughing. It isn't far enough if someone sneezes in your general direction.
It's not. It was snot from a sneeze has been
Not
known
far
to
enough
travel.
if you're speaking moistly.
Moistly.
All the Canadians. I don't know if that translates.
Anyone speaking the Welsh language?
Have you seen,
like-
have you
yeah.
seen the Justin Trudeau speaking moistly music video? People auto-tuned it.
Oh yeah.
Ew. No, and ew.
The Prime Minister of Canada has been doing daily addresses just like most world leaders.
Yeah.
And he's like, maintain social distance and avoid speaking moistly. And you just see it in his eyes. He immediately is like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And he said, oh, that's a real terrible image. But immediately that video clip got auto-tuned. It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
You say most public leaders are making addresses. Ours is actually in critical
ours is in
condition.
hospital.
He's still in the ICU.
Right?
He's in ICU, yeah.
No, he got out. He got out.
Is he out of ICU?
Yeah, he's
He got out yesterday.
good old
Oh.
Boris. Come on.
Well, he's doing well. He's surviving.
So around here,
Yeah.
we deliberately do not watch our president because he's an idiot.
Uh,
I would rather watch the governor of New York, who actually knows what he's doing and actually explains what he's doing and actually does what he says he's doing.
That would make sense. So as a Canadian, we're like the concerned neighbor who keeps peeking over the hedges, looking to see what the hell's going on down there.
Yeah, what's
You're
everyone
like
else
Wilson
doing?
from Home
There's like a
Improvement.
lake between you and us in most of your areas.
No, I mean specifically the Americans. We're like, oh God, what are they doing now?
With you,
Guys, you should calm down and take care of your citizens.
New York might have the highest numbers New York State might have higher numbers than any other country in the world, but it's really all concentrated in downstate.
Yeah, it's right. It's just in New York City.
I'm absolutely
We have
shocked
like
at the
700
numbers.
something in our county, but we're kind of a big county. The other counties around us all have like less than 100.
Barry, what was that?
I find it shocking, the numbers.
Yeah,
I know.
In the
Yeah.
United States. I even find it shocking in Canada compared to Asian countries. They're not getting it as bad. Lee.
Well, no, I think I saw some in the other day that they're actually dismissing the lockdown in China.
They're
Yeah,
going
and-
to try to, but they got to be careful or they're going to go the same way as South Korea and Hong Kong and have a resurgence.
Yeah.
I think
South
the
Korea's having a
idea-
resurgence. I didn't hear that.
Well, it's not really much of a resurgence. It's just they still have Quebec has more cases than South Korea does.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Quebec. They don't seem to be taking this seriously enough. Their numbers are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Well, they're
understand
very
it.
French. Do they still kiss each other on the cheek?
I think so.
I would hope they would stop during the pandemic.
One
Oh,
would
that's
hope.
where that's where most of my ancestors are from. My whole dad's side of the family is from Quebec.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, guys, let's play some D&D.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So here you are in the passageway. I assume you're going to go back and talk to Gideon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with
Sounds
that,
good.
yeah.
I tag along to talk to this Gideon person. Who's this? Who are we going to see?
Who's Gideon?
Spooky
Is he another
glowing
god?
man.
Oh,
Yeah, he's another local god.
is he ghosts?
No
I've
nose.
seen some ghosts.
No nose.
No, no.
Is he a ghost?
No one knows.
Voldemort? Is that
No,
you?
he no ghost. He's spooky glow man.
Weird. Okay.
So as you guys find your way into the town again, you see Gideon, but this time he looks like a person as he did in life. He's tall and well put together, relatively muscular, and is his stands up straight. His brown hair rolls over his shoulders. He looks relatively happy and
Cool.
not dead, except for the part where he's translucent.
Oh, he's translucent.
And he goes, "You have done us a great service. Thank you."
Why does he look so good but sound so bad?
I actually kind of pictured that's how he sounded in life.
Oh, okay. Okay. Like Rod Stewart. Okay.
I would fist bump you right now, except the screen's in the way.
And social distancing.
And social distancing.
And social distancing.
My arm's 3 feet long. If yours is 3 feet long, we can still keep the 6 feet.
Yeah, we just like spray it when you're done.
You got wipes, right?
I got wipes. Right.
A Milton bath.
So Gideon, with his last word, disintegrates. And
He was supposed to tell us where the goblin or whatever it is that we were following was.
hold on, I'm getting there. As he disintegrates into light, little particles of him fly into the sun thrower, and it floats into the air. There's a little twang of light, and it's perfect. There's no crack, and the crystals have grown back into fit within the iron cage. And where he had been standing was a collection of papers.
So I'm picturing that scene at the end of the Dark Crystal when they slot the thing in.
Now's the part where I admit I've never seen it.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got to
Yeah.
admit, neither have
No, I
I.
haven't.
okay.
I tend to catch a lot of crap for that. I've also never seen Willow or Back to the Future.
Hello.
You've never seen
Or
Back to the
You've
Indiana
never
Future?
seen Back to the
Jones.
Future.
Oh my.
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones either. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, get it out of your system.
You're in quarantine right now. You should really catch up.
I'm done.
You're watching TV. You should be watching movies.
But I've got rampant ADHD, and the idea of watching something that requires more than 45 minutes of my undivided attention, like, that's not gonna happen.
Okay, you say that, but I'm sure you then sit down and watch 5 episodes.
Right, but those are individual chunks of 20 minutes, you see.
Oh, okay. All right.
Watching YouTube channels, so those are like 8
I
minutes.
actually sat through 14 episodes of The Rising of the Shield Hero today.
Have you finished it?
Wait,
No,
was
you haven't
good.
finished it yet.
I've not,
You haven't
I've not
finished it yet. Oh, mate.
There's like 25 episodes, Joe.
Oh, mate, I can't wait for season 2.
Guys, I'm not sure that we're going to accomplish any more gameplays.
Yeah,
I know, yeah, sorry.
Let's stop talking about like real life and get back to our
So-
better fantasy life.
The sun thrower is whole, and it sinks back onto the floor, though. It doesn't magically stay afloat on its own. And the papers where Gideon had been standing, without anybody picking them up, you can see that they're freshly written, and that they say that the dwarf took off in the tunnel due south from here.
So there's a giant lamp in the floor, is what I'm hearing.
There's a giant lamp on the floor, a big like sphere of light.
Cool. All right. Do I see anything that might be useful towards helping me find?
Armaments you were looking for?
Yeah, those.
There's no like road signs or anything, but I mean, I don't want to, metagame or anything, but the other players may have already found an armory building here within the city.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I start looking around, and I say, "Hey, this looks like that stone city that they hired me to."
What were you looking for?
I was hired to go find some sort of armaments that are supposed to be down here.
Oh, they're in this building over there.
All right.
But we already.
I'll help you chase down this dwarf guy that you've got to deal with, but can I take a quick look in there and see if what I'm looking for is in there?
Knock yourself out.
Okay, I go take a look.
Okay. You find in there various stacks and assortments of weapons and armor, ranging from just padded quilt nonsense up to, no offense if you're a big fan of padded quilt, up to reinforced steel plate.
Okay, but what specifically am I looking for from this place?
Oh, I just kind of thought you'd been hired to go basically grave rob, to go make off with the armor and weapons that no one was using. It was an easy contract because you're a hobgoblin and Conroy doesn't trust you.
I assumed I was sent here for something specific.
Oh, okay. We can roll with that. Then you were sent for a bow, but you're not going to find it. One of the other players already has it. And I'm not going to tell you which one because that would be cheating.
Oh.
That
Okay.
was-
But there's a variety of weapons in here. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do I see like a hammer of some kind?
Bunches of various sizes, little, how do we say, tinker ones, and ranging up to Warhammer size dealies.
Yeah. I grab a big warhammer.
Okay.
I come back out.
Okay.
And I say, "Nameless priest, you were looking for a bigger hammer to use. Here's one you can use in the meantime. It was in the armory. I was looking for a specific bow that I was sent down here for, but it wasn't in there."
I know that Ikale took a bow and maybe Jit.
I see.
Did
Yeah,
I take a bow? A bow.
I
Is
don't know
there
if we saw
Nothing special
like,
about
a
my
certain
bow. There are
someone
4
take
others
the
just like
special
it
one.
in there.
Yeah, there's nothing special about Ikale's bow. I mean, it's a bow and she didn't have one, so I guess that's special. But the bow itself is not inherently...
But if she said there's 4 other ones in there, you said the one I was looking for wasn't in there, right?
Right, the one you're looking for is special.
Okay, well, if she says it's the same as the other 4, they were not the one that I was sent to retrieve. There's something special about the one I was sent to retrieve. Something distinctive markings or something.
Did the rest of the party know about the person who took the special bow?
I don't know if he told us.
Yeah, I don't know if he told you.
No, I'm not sure he did.
Where is he hiding it?
Where's my damn bow?
Like this bow that nobody knows about. Does he just have it strapped to his back? Because I think then we could see it.
See, I'm not really sure how to play that because I can't. This is one of those can neither confirm nor deny things.
So maybe the person who has it could send you a message saying where they're keeping it.
I mean, that's kind of the problem. So we don't just spin around in circles out like on this all day. Jason has that bow when he's not here.
Oh,
What did he do? Like he took a nap in one of the houses while we went and took care of business? Like
Yeah, I don't really
But
know.
he is a thief, right? He's probably sneaking around doing something.
Yeah, he's probably still on one of the roofs.
He climbed on top of a roof and fell asleep. I don't know.
Okay, all
Maybe
right.
it's the best place to fall asleep.
Yeah, everything else seemed to be under attack. Maybe the roof's a relatively safe place.
So what does this big warhammer do? D10?
I don't know. Let me check the book. Let's go with D10, but let me check the book.
Yes, a D10.
my Warhammer.
My Warhammer
Right,
is
right.
a D10.
Right, you did give it to him, didn't you?
He said he did.
Yeah, I handed it to him. Yeah, that's why I grabbed it. Because he said he was looking to grab a bigger hammer to use. And so since I was in an armory and there were a bunch of weapons there, I was like, I'll grab a hammer. Yoink. There you go. D10 plus strength.
I begin to think that maybe the Haas is not the worst.
Actually, wait. Have I seen him using a shield?
I do have a shield.
Okay, then I bring you the one-handed one. I don't bring you out a two-handed maul.
That's right.
Look at him being all considerate underneath his hobgoblin exterior.
Weapons are very important.
Particularly to a hyper-oppressive community like the one you come from.
Well, yes, military service is almost mandatory.
Right, did I say hyper-oppressive? I meant militant. Yeah, that's it.
Well, it can be both.
So as he hands you the hammer, it kind of crackles with energy. Not the hammer itself. You're receiving a charge from the Tinker, who instructs you to take the enormous chain next to the sun thrower and use it to hoist the sun thrower into the air as high as it will go.
Okay, yeah. I go and do that.
Okay.
I can pull on a chain. I go help.
Okay. As the two of you struggle, not so much to do it, just how much chain there is. The sun thrower goes higher and higher and higher into the cavern. And eventually you just run out of chain. You tie it off to this metal, what are those called? I keep thinking of sheep shanks, but those are ropes, right? There's a little metal divot and you kind of tie it off. And as soon as the light fills the cavern, the entire cavern starts to shake and the walls start coming down as the entire city rises on this great column up through the earth. The surface of the earth gives way as the entire thing breaks the surface and you rise a good 10 or 15 feet up. And now this whole city is elevated just a little bit above the surface.
So what was the point in the fake sun?
No, not above the surface of, like, we're not outside of the cave.
You are.
Wait, we're
Yeah.
We're back up near the other town?
You have the town has risen through the crust of the planet. The fake sun, when it was underground, would have worked like sunlight, but somebody happened to get a divine charge that came with a miracle. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
This is less defensible. This is worse.
This is worse.
So what miracle have I seen? Did I miss
We had walls before. Now we have to build new walls.
The miracle you saw was really the miracle you did was raising the entire city through the surface of the earth above ground.
Oh, wow.
As you do that, various people from the village you were in before, because you're not that far away from it.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we still have our giant lamp giving us perpetual daylight in the nighttime, right?
Yes.
Hey! All right.
The people from the previous city freak and they tear off towards you. And they come scambling up and you see some of them stop at the little like 10-foot lip thing, but most of them don't. They mantle up over it and they gather around you and several of them pass.
I don't know who these people are. I raise my weapons and point them at them.
Okay.
Attack!
I put my head on his shoulder. Stay calm. Stay calm.
Many of them gather around you. Some of them pass out. Most of them hit their knees. All of them are curious. And they go around the nameless Tinker and ask how they can help someone with such incredible power.
We need a wall.
I stand there flexing, taking all the credit, trying to take all the credit again.
Jesus
I tell
Christ.
them you were deceived into peace by wicked schemes, and your so-called town leader. What was his name?
I don't recall.
Bartender.
Bartender. Yeah, let's go with
Yes.
that because I do not recall.
Was it
Bartender.
Grandel?
I'll remember at some point, I'm sure.
The
Yeah, I'll
bartender.
wake up at 3 a.m.
So
Yeah.
bartender, the
Grandel?
bartender
Not far off that now.
was murdering people in your town, and doing it in the name of creating order, but he was actually using the forces of chaos and evil. And you should dedicate your town hall to the worship of the Tinker.
Would we not have a
In order to
better...
show your proper repentance, or I will bring a scourge down on this land for being ignorant of the Tinker's will.
I love how we went from benevolent to I'ma spank you like that. That was great. This
It's
tiny
fine.
little man hunched forward with a walking stick, bumbles over to you and introduces himself as Ewan and says, "I would be honored to rebuild our temple in the name of the Tinker, but I've never heard of him." And he kind of steps back like he's afraid you're going to hit him. Goes, "But I'm going to need some help to get the imagery right." But I'm all for it.
Well, I point to my helmet, which has the hammer right in the middle.
Okay.
As I was saying, if you wanted to call me derisive names, you could use Hammerhead or Ham Hock or Pork or
Nice.
whatever.
Shank or...
And I just say, it's very simple. The Tinker's symbol is the hammer that builds all, the hammer that rules creation, the hammer that mortars in place the stars in the sky.
Hey, wait. Did this man say his name was Hewer? Do you hew stones?
Ewan.
Oh,
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to burst your bubble. I'm sorry.
damn.
And he raises his walking stick as best he can for just a second before he falls back down on it. And when he does that, he rallies the people that they are going to come help build the temple in the name of the Tinker, and that their chosen priest is you, and that they will do anything you ask because they owe you.
Well, the Tinker does not require slavish servitude. The Tinker simply requires order. You must build your city back up in the name of seeking true peace, and true peace does not come by simply ignoring problems or using some kind of drug to placate yourselves and make yourselves passive. But true order actually comes with some degree of violence. I don't mean violence of the type where you hurt one another, but it's not wrong to have differing opinions and work against one another as stone and iron form the bones of the world. There you go.
Hewan kind of right. You should write that down, right? Put it on the tapestry in your new church.
That's right. You should, yeah. Yes, make me a tapestry. And
the
tapestry should depict the 7 or however many ridiculous adventurers we have fighting the faceless creature of beaks and eyes in the Hall of Darkness.
It's a really dramatic name, the Hall of Darkness. That's great. In my head, it's just a hole in the ground. But so Hewan rallies the people and goes, "You heard him," and he starts kind of hitting people with the stick. And for an old man, he's surprisingly spry and authoritative. And
Wait, you're probably going to go down a tunnel after that dwarf now that we no longer have access to the tunnel.
You still have access to the tunnel. There's a hole you guys went through to begin with.
And I also tell them we're not finished with our journey, obviously. I will return here and bring you more teachings of the Tinker, but for now I must go. You know enough.
Several of the people gather around you, and they bring up that you asked them to rebuild their city, and they go, "We could do that, but your benevolency, sir." And they kind of bow down a little bit. You ever see a pangolin? They always kind of look like they're about to lose, right?
Yep.
They kind of go, sir, you see, the prisoners have escaped. Sir, no, they go, we could do that, but these buildings, it appear to be made out of metal. Why don't we just build here?
Unless did I miss anything? I mean, I guess they could. I don't want to like say, oh yeah, sure, take that place.
No, it's no one's inhabiting it at the moment.
Well, we are.
I was gonna say
Right.
my town be.
And Gideon suggested that it not go to waste, but whether or not you want these lowly NPC, squirrel munchers to do that is up
Well,
to you.
we claim the largest building as our
Yeah, that's
Base of operation.
That's our base of operation.
Headquarter.
Yeah, we'll take one large building in the middle, so long as they build a big wall around the outside.
Did you say that in character?
Absolutely.
Okay. The people who are kind of eyeballing you, right? Because
They're like,
you're a
Yep.
right.
I'm a hobgoblin.
they kind of
Nice of you to notice.
they kind of size you up, and many of them look intimidated. Several of them may.
I give them a toothy grin with hobgoblin fangs.
This does not improve their disposition towards you.
Maybe wave a little bit.
Again, not really an improvement.
I look at the civilians. I'd be like, "It's all right, relax. He
You
won't
see
hurt
one of
you."
them kind of go hi, like he's real nervous, like waving a monkey at the zoo,
well, I tell them that the hobgoblin, the Haas is trustworthy and is part of the party that has freed them, so they can trust him.
They settle down a little bit, and they come close enough that they probably trust you enough. The priest's
Cool beans.
the priest's reassurance goes a long way with them. And they go, we can do walls out of metal.
Stone will be fine.
Okay. And they look around. You see a couple of guys going in and out of buildings, right? Looking inside through the windows and stuff. And some of them walk up to.
At least 4 feet thick.
Okay. Some of them gather around Hermes and Jit, right? And they gather around.
Back in 100 years when they're finished.
Yeah, right. And they start scratching him and belly rubs and all that good stuff. And some of them who recognize that Jit is kind of maybe he's smarter than I don't know, the owl bear. Point at the farm and ask him if farming it would be a good idea. These people have lost their leader and just watched a city of metal rise from the earth. They're completely kind of starstruck with the group.
Absolutely. Self-sufficiency is important.
Do you find something to bang on? That's great.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe I bang the scabbard of my sword against the ground when I say that.
Wait.
Nice.
The guy from the highly oppressive, complete controlling society believes self-sufficiency is important.
Yes? But only to better the clan.
Right. Otherwise, society is weak and will fall to outside attackers.
You're only as strong as your weakest link and all that.
Exactly.
Your weakest, hairy, imposing, scary, fang-waving link.
Exactly. Suffering is a test to be overcome.
I feel like in Hobgoblin Society, everybody votes for themselves. You know what I mean?
There's no voting.
So the people kind of murmur around themselves, and word spreads among the 50 or 60 people that are zipping all over the place. And very quickly, they kind of fall into their positions. You see a couple of people working the farm, and a bunch of people kind of just staring at the sun thrower. They're completely in awe. And this little tiny boy runs up to the nameless priest, right, and pulls on your shirt and goes, "Excuse me, we thought, we never see you again, and we thought we'd start looking for you, and we dug and we dug." And he points at the hole you guys went in to begin with, and they've kind of cut stones are a bad way to put it, but he points at the hole where the basement is, and they've cleared out a lot of the dirt and the soot, and the kid's basically achieved nothing. The stairs are just clean, but he looks awfully proud of himself.
And I say blessings upon you, my child. You have brought order to chaos. And
Oh, look at you being all sweet.
+1 proficiency on the rest of his games of jacks for the rest of the day.
Chicken bones, right. So you guys are going to go back down the steps into the hole where the city was? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I'd like to get some new armor first, if it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go into the armory and just equip everybody.
Go nuts. There's enough armor and weapons in there for you to... None of it's magical, but aside from that, knock yourselves out. It's a
Matrix shopping montage.
So what is light armor in this game? Like leather?
leather chain, I think. I think chain.
No, chain isn't heavy.
Is it?
There is no plate mail category in the book.
I see. So chain it is. I mean, chain is heavy, rather. Let me.
I grabbed light, but only because I have a pretty good dexterity.
It's two examples are lamellar and a gambeson, which is just padded cloth. But
Lamellar's pretty good though.
Yeah, but those are just examples. It's not an exhaustive list. So if you
Lamellar is basically like Kevlar plate mail.
So if you want to wear something like, you know, exotic, like a jack of plates or something, go for it.
I just need some light armor.
Okay. Now, given the that's what I'm saying. Giving the choice, what would your light armor be?
No, leather.
Sure, leather it is. You find a set of leather armor in there.
All right.
That, you know, you got to pull it in a little bit or pull it out a little bit. I don't know if your guy's a potbelly or not, but you have to adjust it in order to get it fit. It wasn't custom made for you. But,
Okay. All right. Well, I'm working on that.
okay. Do you guys want to stop here?
Is there anybody in the town who could reforge my hammer into this warhammer?
You see several people at the suggestion literally jump up and down and take off towards you at the prospect that they might get to touch your holy weapon.
Phrasing.
Right, that came out much worse than I meant it to. Like a lot worse. What I meant to say was they jump up and down to the opportunity to.
Well, as I gently put my holy weapon in their hands.
Phrasing.
I say, you know, I look forward to seeing what you can do with this.
They look it over and a couple of them scratch their heads and one of them slaps him and goes, no. If you can't, go. And he just
and I quickly tell them the story of my revelation of the Tinker when I heard him call my name, and I forgot my own name and then was now questing for my name. So I asked them, you know, maybe when you forge this hammer and pray over it, you might reveal my name.
Ooh. So they scurry off with the hammer and they start looking in buildings for a place they might forge it for you.
There you go. And we take a long rest in the city. Good night.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that. Do you guys want to roll? Do you guys want to heal your hit points and everything as best you can from a long rest? Because 5 Churches Deep is brutal with the hit point restoration.
Oh, I basically have 3d6 I can heal anybody.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but only one person. That's intense.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, I should be able to fully heal myself off a rest. I've only got 5 hit points to get back.
And I only need to heal 3, so I could also heal myself off a rest.
Boss, just because I'm feeling benevolent toward Boss and want to lead him in the path of light, I heal him a bunch of hit points, and he's
a bunch.
Well,
your minimum roll brings me back to full, so
you're right. So that was fun.
I thank you for treating my injuries.
You're welcome. The Tinker will show you the path.
Got to get a little bit more religion in there. Just got to sneak it in.
Your tinker is an interesting god.
I will take that as a compliment.
So I suppose it's a great place to stop. What do you guys think?
I can stop. I can go another hour. Whatever people are feeling.
I'm good.
It's been a long day here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look pretty beat.
We're
And I mean
all-
that in the most adorable way possible.
Yeah.
The
It's
Welsh
coming up to
are-
1 o'clock here.
I am not a snowflake.
Oh, that's pretty late.
Yeah, I will see you guys next week. I don't want to beat anybody up here. I don't want to feel bad tomorrow when I get a text message from Sam going, "Look here, you turd, shorter game next week."
What did I
You
just
will
say?
get
I'm not a
it
snowflake.
anyway.
Yeah, I'll
Same,
get it anyway.
Same time next Monday.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Same back.
Sounds good.
Barry, I'll shoot you a link just now. We'll chat for a second.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
All right.
It was fun, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
And I really love
Later.
that the social, like, let's put the game down and talk about each other's plans for a while in the middle. Fun. Don't mind me, I got the Novid.
All right.
I cough, but I don't have the COVID. Darian, you want to touch base with me after, and I'll help you with supply and load and all that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Oh,
Bye.
bye.